Welcome, one and all, to an actual live edition of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew, and tonight joined by Jeff and Conrad. Hopefully, you've all been well, and are looking forward to us having a bit of a random kind of a show tonight. So bear with us as we go through this one for a bit of fun as we get back into the swing of things after taking a couple of weeks off for the mid-year break. Basically, get in the comments, say hi, let us know where you're watching from, all the usual stuff. But yeah, basically a big thank you to everyone for being patient with us over the last couple of weeks. Hopefully you enjoyed the pre-recorded shows with Cicada Stone and Audio Rain. I thought they were a lot of fun to put together and seemed to have gone pretty well with the audience as well. So hopefully you all enjoyed those little special presentations over the last couple of weeks. But thank you for everyone for watching, and thank you if you're watching in later or tuning in later on as well. Tonight, we are going to go through a few albums. So the idea here, we called this episode Pick Your Poison. So the premise of this one is to go through, we all bring an album to the table, so to speak. One we picked, one that we either wanted to just put a spotlight on for, or a personal favorite of ours, or something we were curious about, we haven't checked out yet, and figured we'd have a chat about and get everyone to sort of chime in, and not strictly reviews, more like the backyard banger section by four. There'll be four of them tonight. Dave's not here, but we'll get to that one in a minute. But yeah, so in that context of things, we're going to be talking about Dokken Back for the Attack, Ghost of Meliora, Entombed with Wolverine Blues, and 12-Foot Ninja with Silent Machine. We have all the usual stupidities. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the usual stuff. I'll put up tickers as we go along, or things at the bottom of the screen to give you details. But if you're curious, there's info in the description box as well for reference tracks for tonight, and also for all the links you need to follow us. Check out our Patreon page, all the usual stuff as well. Make sure you check us out on telly, 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne, 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights, Channel 44 in Adelaide. And yeah, basically, please tell your friends if you're watching this and you enjoy the show. So give us your thoughts, comments, feedback, whatever else have you. That's the usual stuff. We'll get stuck in a second. Jody says hello to everyone as always, and as though Dave and Bell, who couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately. It's just one of those things where the last week and the first week around a break are always a bit sort of hectic for everyone, be it mid-year or end of year or start of year, take your pick. And so I always try to play with the margins a bit on those weeks, which is why the last session before the break was a bit of a wild one, and this one's a bit more fun and easy, sort of easing our way into it before we kick into the regular programming. We'll be back next week. Comments here. Terry's here going, hi guys, good to see you, Terry. Hey. Thank you for jumping in. Good to see you as always. Yes, make sure you jump in the comments, say hi. Rowan's here as well. Good to see you as well. Oh, cool. Rowan. It's a new function on StreamYard where they've added like the thumbnail of the person, which is cool. All right, that's new. But also on that note, we're not on Twitter tonight, or X, whatever you want to call it, because they now say you need a premium Twitter account to live stream on that platform, and fuck that. I'm not giving Elon Musk any more money than I fucking have to.
You're already paying him. You're already paying.
I'm already paying him for the internet. I'm not paying him for fucking that platform too. Michael's here going, hey all, good to see you. Hopefully you've been well. Vinny says, welcome back, Trio. Hope you've enjoyed your break. For the record, I'm starting a new band called Tenacious V. Well, yeah, Tenacious Vinny, that's a bit of a hotbed at the moment. That's a fucking disaster, isn't it, really, for those who've been paying attention at home? Wow. Huh?
I have not.
No, oh, wow. Okay. Well, basically, it looks like Tenacious D might have broken up in the last 48 hours or so. Over comments from Kyle about Donald Trump and fucking stupid. Basically, Kyle, it was his birthday on tour, and Kyle was asked, he was given the cake to blow out the candle, said, oh, what do you wish for? And he said, a shooter that doesn't miss. Which he said the quiet part out loud for a lot of people, I think.
Didn't go down
at the same time.
Jack,
without the Jack, Jack sort of went, oh, okay, and I think it's more to do with the political environment right now.
Lose a lot of fans. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I don't condone violence of any kind at any sort, whatever else have you. But for a satirical act like this to get canned the way they're being canned by senators, Australian and American, while you've got Ted Nugent running around spouting off whatever he spouts off every bloody week, it's a bit of a hang on. But anyway, that's a whole conversation for another time. It's just for those that aren't aware, there's a whole thing. So
I was not aware, so thank you. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. So for those that are curious, you can go and check out more online at your own leisure. Jolie's here. Good to see you. Hi.
Jolie.
Hope you're all well. Good to see you as well. I've been a bit crook. I'll get to that in a second, but no, we are getting better. Michael says, good evening and hi from Jolie. Bloody hell, Dave and Bell been taken out by Vinny's heavy.
Yeah.
Possibly this week. Vinny says some are implying Jack is also protecting his movie career. Look, bottom line, Jack Black has a lot of money on the line. But at the same time, it's that whole thing: are you rock and roll or are you corporate? And I think he's gone more corporate than rock and roll in this case. But hey, if he wants to do that, it's his life. He can do whatever he wants. Not judging, just observing. Alrighty. So basically, before we get stuck into things, let's do a little catch up with everyone. Saying, what have you done over the break? So, Jeff, let's start with you. What have you done over the last couple of weeks, if anything interesting at all? Because we live pretty broke.
I'm trying to think. What have I done? Sweet fuck all of 5/5 of fuck all, as they say. I've just been doing nothing. I work, I sleep, I come home, I fucking might play a little bit of Xbox, and I go to bed. Although I've been watching a really cool show, and I remiss that I didn't catch up on it when it first aired. It sucks. But the show, there was originally a British version of it, and then it was so popular that the Americans did it. No, it's not The Office. It's Shameless.
Shameless.
Don't know.
Fucking unbelievable.
I know
it's
the British version.
Yeah.
I know the British version. I don't know the American version. I know the British
man, I'm telling you, man. I haven't watched the British version, only the American, but when I'm done this, 11 seasons it went.
Wow.
I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go back and watch the British version because apparently, according to some people, the British version is even better.
Yeah.
And
Usually is.
I can't, I'm telling you, I watched 2 episodes of the American one, and I was like, oh my God, this is one of the best shows I've ever watched, ever.
Wow. Okay.
Was that good? Yeah, it's fucking good. So Shameless, if you're looking for something to watch, it's on Netflix.
It upset a lot of people in this country when it came out. In the British version.
The British version? Yeah.
It upset a lot.
Well, it's very confronting.
Because it held up a mirror to society, and people didn't want to look at that.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works.
But
usually the way it works. They didn't want to confront the ugly reality.
Yeah, the ugly reality of the ugly vision of reality of how people live.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Look, just if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you have watched it, let us know what you think of it.
All right. Cool. Nice. All right. Conrad, what have you been up to? Anything interesting?
I did ACDC, baby. I worked
Fucking hell. Talk about nothing interesting. Okay, just drop that in there casually.
Have a look. I posted a picture. Jeff's got a picture of me working on ACDC. Yeah. Wow. You want to post that up? I've got a picture of me on stage working on ACDC.
All right.
So that was
Send
pretty
it through,
amazing.
Man.
I built the PA. I put the PA in, and it was just monsters. Nice. It was one of the biggest PA systems I've ever built. It was huge. It was massive.
Wow.
Massive thing. And then I built the wall of Marshall cabs on stage. I built those, and then it was coming to the end of the shift, and then there was the famous bell was on stage, and I had to get a picture with the bell. I just had to do it. So, I managed to snap a picture with the bell. So and then went on Wednesday night to the first show at Wembley, and it was fucking phenomenal. It was amazing. It was brilliant.
Cool.
It was killer. And then ZZ Top. Did ZZ Top Wembley Arena with Rival Sons.
Oh, cool.
A good gig. ZZ Top and Rival Sons. And then the next night was Stevie Nicks in Hyde Park.
Fucking hell.
So it's been a week of it's been a couple of weeks of some great shows, I'll say that. And tonight I'm in Orange Goblin. Yeah.
Nice.
The Orange Goblin. So
that'd be fun too, man.
A lot of gigs. It's been great. It's been good.
All right, Andrew, it's in the thing.
Cool. Thank you for that. I will look at that one in a moment.
I posted it to Jeff. It was
yeah. Cool. He's just forwarded to the Discord chat to me, so I'll have a look at that in a moment, which is cool.
No worries.
Nice. Cool. Anything else you wanted to add there, or?
No, it's been gigs. I'm gonna have to find somewhere to live again soon.
Oh fuck!
My
really?
Lease is up. Yeah, my lease is up, and I don't want to give these fuckers another $4,000. They can go get.
Wow.
I'm not paying them $4,000 to stay here, because if you're unemployed here, what they call the universal credit, which is your unemployment benefits. I get casual work. Yep. I'm working casually, but I'm not working full time. And as a result, not a lot of places are going to touch you. Real estate agents or property managers, or even landlords are going to go near you if you're on unemployment benefits. They want people working, and they want them earning over a certain amount as well. You've got to earn over a certain threshold as well. So it makes things rather difficult. So hence there's a lot of homelessness in this country.
Yeah.
It's pretty sickening. So they don't really give
the government
and make it very difficult for people that are unemployed to rent places. I'm not unemployed. I've got savings and I've got casual work coming in as well. So even with, several £1,000, like to offer 6 months in advance, I have to offer 4 to 6 months, between 4 to 6 months in advance. I have to offer to get into these places to be able to rent them. And even then they'll turn their noses up because I'm not working full time. So it makes it pretty difficult. So that's the situation I'm in at the moment again. So yeah.
That sucks. Like, really?
So it makes it's pretty tough here. It's pretty hard, even with this new government, who I don't have a lot of faith in. But there's one thing this new government will do is try and help those in house. They'll do more for the unemployed and house people that need housing and things like that. They should put some more money into that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
However, they're giving their houses to people that are getting off the dinghies across the channel. The illegals that are coming in, they're getting houses before the likes of me, which is a little bit infuriating, at least.
I can imagine. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Not good. Well, hopefully that goes smoothly for you, Conrad. I know you had a lot of trouble that last time around, so fingers crossed it's a bit easier on the next trip out in that regard. So, fingers crossed for you, man.
I know what. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Indeed.
From my end of things, I've got that photo. I'll upload. I'll put it into the stream in a second. But from my end of things, I actually got sick. So did Jody. So we spent a lot of the last couple of weeks actually being a bit unwell, which is unfortunate. So Jody brought home something from her work, and it just sort of kicked off from there. And I managed to avoid it for a while, and then it got me. And then I got to a point where I could barely hear out of my right ear and stuff for a while. So I was a bit crook. On the mend now, sort of still trying to clear the sinus kind of thing. It's not too bad now, but it's just sort of that whole thing where you're trying to clear the last of it out. But aside from that, making some changes behind the scenes. Jody is leaving her work because it's just too much for what it is. It's just not worth it. And with everything going on in our lives, which you guys know behind the scenes, so it's not quite public yet, we have a lot of things to plan and cater for, especially at the end of the year. So I need to make some changes there. So I actually had a cool job interview today. So fingers crossed tomorrow I have a bit of a trial and I'll be on the books for another job next week. Hopefully we'll see what happens. It's not a done deal or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but fingers crossed that it all goes well, because it'd be a pretty cool place to work and to suit what we're doing here really nicely as well. So fingers crossed it all goes well, but that's about it. I've just been sort of keeping myself afloat, being unwell and trying to sort of keep things moving along and getting some stuff done around here, but not a lot, and just basically trying to get the editing side of things done for those couple of special presentations along with TV and that. Been a bit of a tricky moment when you're not feeling that great and you're trying to sleep, but at the same time you got to get things done. It's all that whole same thing that everyone else has whenever they have those things going in life, but which is a bit of a bad way to spend your week or couple of weeks break, isn't it? It always happens though. It's always it's never when you go. It's when you stop. And it's when you stop and it's like, okay, cool, bang, okay, everything just comes in a tidal wave and it's like, fuck, here we go. But that's, well, it is what it is. On the mend now, everything's pretty good. Jody and myself are feeling much better than we were a week or so ago. So, no, it's all good. But just that whole, now you got to play catch up and all sorts of stuff too. So I was like, whatever. But still, life could be a lot worse than it is. Everyone's happy, healthy, well overall. So that's the main thing. And we'll just keep trucking, as they say. So it's all good. What do we got here? Let's go to comments. David's here. G'day all. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Michael, Kyle should claim his blood sugar levels were up from the birthday cake, even though he'd not eaten it yet. That's a good point there, Michael. Guru's here, conspiracy guru from across the plane. He's going to get our rockers. Good to see you as always. Rowan says, if you see Angus, say hi for me. Bash is saying hi all. And Kieran's here too. Hi, guys. Good to see you as well. Hopefully everyone's been well. Good to have everyone back after a couple of weeks here. Yes. And we'll get stuck into things in a moment. But quickly, let's pull up that photo that Jeff was kind of sent through to me. Overlay. There we go.
How cool is that?
Conrad with the ACDs here, Bell. There you go, folks. So
Belle couldn't be here tonight, but she's in spirit.
That's Wembley Stadium. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
That is remarkable. That is a great shot, man. That's nicely done. I might have to rip that.
Is it metal or something, or wood? What is it made out of, that bell?
It's actually like hardened. I don't want to shatter people's illusions or to shatter people's fantasies until it's real. If it was real, it would fall through the stage. It'd be too heavy.
Yeah, exactly. No way, Is it styrofoam or something? Maybe
there's four of them. There's four of them. One of them is real.
Okay.
There's four of them that they've got. One of them is actually real, apparently.
Wow.
But that one is more like a hardened. It's like a hardened plastic. It's quite light. It's quite light, actually. You can
almost
push
like a fiberglass kind of thing.
You can push it with one hand across.
It's got to be illusion, right? Some fucking rafters that are temporary. It's got to be, able to do those sort of things.
Yeah. They come out with the fucking NDA.
It's quite light. You don't want to lean on it like I'm leaning on it there, but you can actually push it with one.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's nifty.
It's quite light. But there's four of them apparently. One of them is real, I believe. Yeah, but I don't think it'd be made of cast iron steel.
No, it'd be like
aluminium or something. Yeah.
But
aluminium or tin or something. Yeah.
I was trying to get the cannons as well because after I set up the wall of cabs, I set up the wall of the marshals. And then I had the cannon. The cannons were in place, and I was like, "Fuck! I've got to get a photo of the cannons." And by the time I got ready to sort that out with the cannons, they rolled the cannons back, and I was like, "Fuck!" I was But in saying that, had I been seen somebody taking that photo, that would have been off the gig immediately.
Yeah,
so I've got to be very careful with that sort of thing. So I snuck that. Yeah. I got someone to take it, but I tell you what, I could have been thrown straight off the fucking job for that.
Yeah.
They really don't like that sort of thing at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, well, I appreciate it. I think the people in the watching appreciated it there. So
Angus is on the phone right now. Get that.
Never let that guy work with us again.
Yeah. Now share it on social media. The shows once the show's out there, you can expose things. But before the no.
Yeah. That's all pretty standard.
So,
yeah. Cool. Nice. Awesome. Well, Man Family here saying g'day. Oh, good to see you as well. And I've got great photos. Yeah, we're getting a lot of love for that one now already. Johnny Wombat's here. Hey, team. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Kathy's here. Good to see you back. Missed you guys. We are back. I got your message earlier on. I've got to get back to you on that one. Don't worry. That is coming. Sparksy, here we go. How's your night going, Jefferson, you sexy motherfucker?
Thank you. Yes.
And the Trivia King, Kevin, is here as well. Greetings, kids. So good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well over there as well. Alrighty, we've done a bit of a recap. Let's have some fun here. Let's get into the first album of tonight. Like I was saying at the top, we're going to go through 4 albums tonight. We each chose one. Belle didn't jump in on this one. Dave and the 3 of us here chose an album each. And Jeff, we're going to start with your choice tonight.
Wow.
I randomly drew these out beforehand to see what happens with who does what. So while we get that ready to go as well. So what we have here is a link in the comments. There's also a link in the description box for those who want to check it out later on or miss it for whatever reason. There is a link to Dokken with Dream Warriors because it comes from the Back for the Attack album. So this is Dokken, Back for the Attack, as chosen by Jeff. It's 13 tracks, 63 minutes, the 4th studio album from the American band, released November 1987 by Elektra Records, produced by Neil Kernan at a handful of studios across California. 4 singles were released from this one, including Dream Warriors and Burning Like a Flame. This album peaked number 13 in the US, number 96 in the UK, while getting number 25 or better in Canada, Finland, Japan, Sweden, and Switzerland. It's been certified platinum in the US, having sold about 1.5 million copies worldwide. This is Jeff's pick, like I was saying before. So Jeff gets to go first because it's his album, and then after that, we're going to randomly determine who goes next after that. But Jeff, why did you pick this album to go through this week?
Well, when you initially mentioned, I thought, what am I going to pick? And then I thought, fuck it, I'm going to put my favorite guitar album of all time. Yeah. And this is it, my favorite guitar album. So, Back for the Attack, classic. And I think in many ways, it's the final album from the classic era of this band. Because after this, of course, they broke up. And then when they reformed, they were shit. So this is, opinions vary.
Yeah.
Look, I think that this album really is the Divine Trilogy, because I think the first album was good, and I'm wearing the the cover from it now. But Breaking the Chains was a great album, but I think they really came into their own with Tooth and Nail. And then Unchain the Night, and then, of course, Back for the Attack. Those 3 albums back to back fucking unbelievable. And a lot of people consider Unchained the Night their favorite, the best of those, but some people think, well, no, it's Tooth and Nail is the best. But I think all three of them are fantastic. And yeah, you gonna say something?
Is Unchained the Night the one with breaking the chains on it?
No, Unchained the Night is their third album.
I remember the video clip to Breaking the Chains is hilarious.
Yeah. It's cheesy, right? They had about $20 to their fucking name, so they did it.
It's hilarious. You gotta watch it. It's funny.
But so Dokken has long been one of my favorite bands, or Under Lock and Key, I should say. Unchained the Night is the first song.
Lock and Key,
Under Lock and Key. And so look, I think that for me, the reason I chose this album, I think that you could argue that Under Lock and Key has a very similar sound to this album. But there's something about the quality of this album on that I think it just screams a maturity and a band that's really firing on all cylinders.
It took forever and a day to get it out too. Like they worked on this for over a year. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so, there was a lot of bullshit going on behind the scenes that stopped the album from coming out when it was supposed to. And but really, if you look at the time, right, the time frame was 84. We got Under Lock and Key, or 85 we got Under Lock and Key. 84 we got Tooth and Nail, and then in 87 we got this album. There was one final album after this, which is Unleashed in the East, or whatever it was. Or it was a live album. Was terrible, to be honest. The album's great songs, but the sound quality is less than stellar. And so, but then after that they broke up. So bang, gone. So for me, there's something about the tonal qualities, and I'll just kind of read what I wrote. Look, the album opens up with the classic song "Kiss of Death." It's a song about seduction, a chance meeting, and an unknown to the protagonist, death in the form of an unseen enemy hiding in the bed that he's in. And it's actually just a song about AIDS. At the time, if you think back in the 80s, that was the big, the big scare and everything like that. We don't talk and think about AIDS now, really. We just,
but back then, it was huge.
Back then, because
it was huge. It was everything. Nowadays, literally nobody gives a fuck.
The promiscuity with these bands back then,
That's right. That's right. And so it was on everyone's tongue, and everyone was talking about AIDS, and everyone was worried about it. There was almost this panic that, oh my God, I'm going to get AIDS, and of course it fucking sold more condoms than fucking you can believe. So it really helped push that industry. But look, it was a death sentence at the end of the day.
Back then it was. Now it's managed.
Now it's managed. That's right. But as I said, literally now, because we can manage it, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Literally. Look, I think the one thing about all Dokken albums, up to this point, like the fourth album in the is that there's very few filler tracks on their albums. Most of the songs are quite strong. I mean, there's some better songs than others, but there's nothing like, oh my God, Skip. It's like it's listenable and it's good. So after the Kiss of Death, the next 4 tracks lead up to one of the best instrumentals the band ever did. Mr. Scary, which is named after one of George's guitars. And if you want to Google it, you can see it. It's a skeleton-like guitar. It's pretty awesome. And it's actually now a guitar company that George has called Mr. Scary Guitars.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Didn't know that.
So very cool. Very cool. And you can get exact replicas made in his factory or whatever. Everything exact. Even right now, like I was reading about one of them. He's got this famous guitar, Tiger guitar. You may recognize it with the stripes. Yeah. Well, it's so accurate that it's got the checking in the finish is exactly like how the cracks are in the actual finish are exact.
Fuck, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So it's like they do a great
Apparently
job.
That was a cheap piece of shit.
It was.
A big piece of crap. He said I saw an interview with him, and he's saying this is just some piece of fucking cheap shit.
Yeah, it was. It was like same thing with Eddie Van Halen. You know, piece of junk guitar that nobody wanted. He bought. It was a second. You know, paid like $20 for it. So the same thing.
Frankenstrap. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then they go and do things to it to make it their own.
Yeah, he made it amazing. But he bought the guitar. It was in the bin. And he said, "What about that one?" The guy said, "No, you don't want that. It's a piece of shit." "No, I'll take it. I'll take it." He gave it to him for nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Eddie's. But but he couldn't afford anything. So
well, beggars can't be choosers in that context.
No, fuck. Exactly. He went there to get something, but he ended up getting something for nothing. So look, getting back to the album, the production on this album is fantastic. You get really strong bass from Jeff Pilson, excellent drumming from Wild Mick Brown, as he's called. And of course, you get the amazing vocals from Don himself. Sure wish he could still sing like that. Holy fuck, can he not sing? But anyway, and there's a little bit of a teaser that's sort of leading into one of the TV episodes that's upcoming, where I talk about that. You catch that one, folks. Look, I think what makes this album my absolute favorite album of those is just the killer guitar tone that George has. It's really unlike anything else that's out there, other than perhaps the previous album, Under Lock and Key. And nobody in the day could copy the tone. Everyone tried, but nobody could copy it, which made it even more, and then when you throw in the fact that George is not classically trained, he never took a lesson. He basically taught himself how to play guitar, and he doesn't know any theory at all. Yeah. He can tell you what key he's playing in. That's about it. He's just natural, right? Monster player, absolute monster player. It's one of my favorites.
He's a great guitarist.
Unfortunately, suffers from the same thing that Malmsteen does, and does not play well with others.
I think that's been overblown a little bit, because I think there was a lot of back and forth, and if you look at how many projects George actually does with other musicians,
it's a fair point.
He's got fucking heaps, so it can't be that bad. But I think they overplayed that just to make it like.
Well, maybe him and Don don't work well together.
I think that's the bigger. Yeah.
Look, there was a time back in the day when I could probably play most of this album, but now I've been trying in the last little bit because I've been getting back in this album. And it's slop. Slop City is really all it is.
Hence the question you asked me and Dave in the Discord.
I know, and I realized I've lost my mojo. But the sound of the favorite. I could get it back, but fuck, I'm getting old, I'm getting tired. And I realized just actually playing that album from beginning to end, even though I'm not playing it the way it should be played, by the time it's done, I'm exhausted. I'm just, my arms are fucked. Everything's fucked. Anyway, I think George has a way of playing that is completely original, completely unique to anybody else out there. And I've tried to replicate the sound on this gear over the years with various forms of gear that I've owned, and you got to make do. You got to make do. And it's not easy. Now, what George used on this album, he used a 68 Marshall Plexi, and then a Rockman, which was made by Tom Schultz. And all up, to get the 68 Marshall Plexi and the Rocksman, what he used, would be about 20 grand. And fuck that, right? So you can get amp plugins and shit like that. And there's software nowadays you can do it on the cheap. But it's nothing still really comes close. And I think that one of the really unique things about made this album unique in the sound. What George did was when he went in the studio to record it, he took the Rockman sound, right? And he panned the Rockman sound hard left and hard right. And then the Plexi went down the middle. Okay. And then what you got was this just amazing fucking guitar tone that just, oh man, when I hear that tone, doesn't matter what song it is on the album, I get goosebumps because it's just such an amazing tone. I know it's guitar geekery shit, but it is.
But it's a good one. It's a good tone. And it still holds up today too. Like that's the amazing thing about it. Yeah,
it does. And I just love it. Look, I've been gushing, I guess, really more gushing than talking, but than making sense anyway. I've been talking shit, but look, it's
doing fine, man.
I will always consider this album. It'll always be up there for me. I mean, it's not my favorite album of everybody or everything.
But it's an important one. Yeah.
But it's an important one for me. I love the tone. I love the sound. And it'll always be one of my favorite guitar albums. So I can't give it anything less than 10 shots. Top shelf for me. So, yeah. And I'm a little bit biased, but I don't care. Fuck it.
No, of course. But that's the point. We're all picking our own bloody thing.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. So
it's
anyway,
okay to bias the one you choose. Like, that's kind of the point. It's for us to gush over one and then for everyone else to pick it apart. But I'll go next. But I'm not going to pick it apart. Like, it's funny because we did a special years ago now, which was like a first ever 3-way battle we did on the show, which is between Dokken, Rat, and Europe. Which is a bizarre battle. We did the whole thing in front of the audience at the old studio. Had a lot of fun with that, but I haven't really listened to this album much since then because of obviously just the volume of stuff I've been working on over the years. You don't get to go back very often, which is half the reason why I take a break and do things like this to go and revisit something. But putting this on over the last few days, I've been like, fuck, I forgot how good this album was. I know that sounds disrespectful, but it's not. It's just because you listen to so much music, but you put it on, you go, fuck. This thing is just wall-to-wall fucking bangers. Like, it's just wall-to-wall from beginning to end. It's just solid. I mean, yeah, it's very, very 80s. Don't get me wrong. It's got some of the pitfalls of the era, but that takes nothing away from the listen overall from beginning to end. I think it sounds great. I mean, we've already touched on the guitar tone of this thing, but also the vocals. Like, this is a guitar and vocal show, and they knocked that out of the park. Despite whatever was going on, they put something out that was incredibly good to listen to. But also the old school panning and that. It's just the way the tones are also the mixing. It's aged incredibly well, like I touched on before. But like I said, this is all about guitar and vocals. It's undeniable in that regard. The 1-2 punch there is just phenomenal on this one. And if you're looking for an example of how to create that dynamic, this is a great reference album in that regard for what you can do with the guitar and the vocal that are equal to each other in mastery. It makes me want to go back and revisit that old special we did quite a few years ago now. Probably getting close to 10 years ago, actually. We'll be getting up that way. At least 8, I reckon. Be worth just going back and revisiting that. But like I said, this was just a great little trip down memory lane. Not only for just the album itself, but also just for what we've done over the years on the show. But this is, though, even though it's an 80s album, this is a definite highlight of the 80s, if that makes sense. Like, you can go through all the albums, all the years. Like, this is an album that sort of leaps out. And whenever we do polls of like 87 or the 80s, this album always does very well and that kind of stuff too. It's one of those ones that's well loved across the board. With good reason. But yeah, I think it's a special album. I know that Dokken have great albums around this one. People don't view this one as the best one, like you said, Jeff. But at the same time, this is a really fucking good album. And there's so much more to this one too than Dream Warriors. I think in maybe a controversial opinion, I don't think Dream Warriors is like the best track on here by a fair margin. Like it was made for a movie. It worked. Not necessarily made for a movie. It got onto the Nightmare on Elm Street thing. But it's a cool song, but it almost feels tacked on at the end. For me, anyway, it doesn't feel like it fits the rest of the album quite as well.
In just on that, I was thinking about that myself, and I was trying to remember, and I was Googling, I couldn't find it. I don't think that the song was actually on the original album. I think it was.
I haven't seen anything about
that. I think it was a single, and it was not actually on the album because I know they released the single. And it was, and the flip side to that was a song called Back for the Attack, believe it or not, that never made the album. If you can actually find that on the Dokken. There's an album that came out 5-6 years ago. It's got like 100 fucking Dokken songs on it. And Back for the Attack is on there, and that was the single, the flip side to Dream Warriors.
Okay. Dude, no, that's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't even pick up.
I could be wrong. I just can't.
It just does feel a bit tacked on. But anyway, it's a good song. But just in the context, everyone knows that one, but it's not like the highlight moment of the album. But also, just you touched on it. Can we please bring back the use of major instrumentals on an album, please? Like, I love it. I love it, and how it's used on this album is so good. Mr. Scary is a beast of a fucking track. If you want to do an instrumental, fucking do it. It's such a good song.
Yeah.
So can we bring back more of those, please?
Everyone loves Don Dokken, but it shows you that the band can be just amazing without him in it.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's a good showcase for everyone in that regard, because vocals always take front and center, especially in the 80s. But just for that bit of music to jump out like that, I think it was fantastic. But anyway, I gave this album 9 shots. I fucking love it. Kiss of Death, Night by Night, Mr. Scary, So Many Tears, Burning Like a Flame for some random highlights there for me. But yeah, I enjoyed this one quite a bit. Conrad, over to you.
Yeah, I thought this was a great record. I, like you, revisited it a few days ago and was just like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
It gave me a really uplifting vibe. It had a nice uplifting vibe to it. You know, it made me feel happy. It's like, oh, this is good. And it doesn't feel too dated. It didn't feel terribly aged. I was like, this is aged quite well. It's you know, it still sounds relatively good for its age, definitely. So and like you said, we touched on the guitar tones. Guitar tones are great. Vocal harmonies with the guitar tones are really good. The way you use them both.
Good point.
I'm giving this. I'll give this at least 8 shots. Me.
It's pretty good, man.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's consistent across the board.
It's a good, and I found myself singing along to it quite a lot.
Yeah.
The songs.
I haven't listened to it for so long, but I was the same thing. It's like you just hear them in your head and you go, okay, cool, I know this one again. It's just, it shows you how good the songs were.
I actually I knew more of it than I thought I did. I ended up knowing way more.
Yeah,
they get I realized I knew this album that well.
They're in your head, they just got pulled out, which is cool. Yeah.
No, I think it's a unanimous. Well done, Jeff. I think we all loved it, so don't worry about that. I think you've done well there.
Yeah.
Let's get to the audience. Jason a while ago said, "Hope everything is okay, boys. Just got back from Kagran, Vienna, and my Austria girl with me in Australia. Nice, man. I can't wait for Hammerfall tour next year in Oz Massive in Europe. Yes, Hammerfall are coming out. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that everything went well with your lady friend there. So awesome. Good to see that. Hopefully that's all going incredibly well for you, and you're a very, very happy individual. I love seeing things like that. Kevin's gone under lock and key, not Unchained the Night. Yeah, we fixed that one as we went along. Craig's here going, yo, good to see you, Craig. Jay said, I wish Dokken had been big in Australia. Never understood why the first 4 albums were brilliant. They're one of those bands that, without that, I think even in Australia, without that cut through of Dream Warriors, they've probably been completely overlooked here, just about.
Yes.
But we're a strange country, so just, it is what it is.
Get it.
Kevin says, well said, Jeff. I could not agree more with your thoughts on Dokken. So there we go. There's some love for that. Kevin also said, I got to see Dokken 2 times on that tour. Wow, that'd be cool. They were the first time they opened for Aerosmith, and they were great. The second time they were on the MOR tour, and they came on after Metallica. They were not good. Ooh, Monsters of Rock.
Yeah.
After Metallica, that's
look, Andy, Metallica killed everybody on that,
especially in this era. Like, good luck following them.
They didn't even look like they should have been on that.
They pleaded with the promoter not to go on after it's famous. They said, we don't want to go on after Metallica. They pleaded.
Yeah,
no, don't want to go.
Like, Kingdom Come, you had bands like that, and then you think Metallica, Metallica doesn't belong in this lineup, and it's not fair to these other bands.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know who was Van Halen headlined.
Van
Halen headlined.
Did they?
Yeah, I think it was Van Halen.
But that'd be the only band.
They may have. Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So Metallica, whoever's there, tell who was on that, because that was a great tour.
People will know. Yeah, Kevin will tell us.
I think Van Halen headlined it, but I do remember them pleading with the event or with the management.
There is actually video of that. There is some video of it.
That story got around. Yeah. That was funny.
Metallica were doing Justice, I believe.
They were killing everything in sight at that point in time too. Like they were.
I mean, they were just coming into their own, really.
Yeah. Darren's here. Hi guys, great show. Good to see you. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. Craig says, back for the attack as on the Rock Candy remaster of said album a few years back. It ends the album on a better note than Dream Warriors. Okay. It's on the Rock Candy remaster. Sorry. Yes. Okay, cool. So that might be a better way to finish the album. Yeah. It just felt like Dream Warriors is a bit of a weird way to finish it, but anyway.
That's what they put Dream Warriors, because it was a remastered. I don't know. I just for some reason I don't think it was on the original. I could be wrong.
No, curious. Yeah, definitely curious. Bash is going Dokken 8 shots. There we go. Kevin says, I was there to see Metallica, but also, yeah, Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, Metallica, Kingdom Come. There you go. That's the lineup.
There we go.
So,
yeah. Well, that's a fucking crazy.
That is a lineup. But I think that Van Halen probably the only one that could go toe to toe with Metallica at that point in time. To be honest, from back in the day. Alrighty, let's move on. Next one to go to is, let's see how this one goes. Got a reference track for you to check out in the comments and the description for those checking out things later on. It's Ghost with the track Cirice. This is from the Meliora album. Obviously, it's Ghost, like I was saying before. So this is 15 tracks, 65 minutes. The third studio album from the Swedish band, released August 2015 by Loma Vista Recordings. Produced by Klaus Arlund at 4 studios across California and Stockholm. 3 singles were released, including Cirice and From the Pinnacle to the Pit. This album peaked number 8 in the US, number 23 in the UK, number 20 here in Australia, as well as a host of top 50s, mostly across Europe. It's been certified platinum in Sweden and gold in Canada. This was Dave's pick for this episode. Obviously, Dave can't join us tonight. But he also explicitly wanted us to do this bonus edition that we've got here, which is we've gone with the deluxe edition here, because he wanted to make sure Square Hammer got it included in this one. So he's not here. I don't know where Jeff's gotten to. He's run off to do something. So it was funny because I actually drew Jeff's name to go out randomly first, but I'll go first then in that case. So for me, this album, I enjoyed Infestissimum beforehand, but this is the album that really, really solidified my love for Ghost. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's cool as well. But for me, this is a band that, as the years have gone on, they've become one of my go-to ones, and I love how a lot of younger people are getting into the band as well. It's one of those bands that you can feel sort of carrying the torch and allowing the genre overall to get more eyes and ears on it. For me, this one, even the extended edition that we've got here with all the covers at the end and that, it's just a really good solid collection of songs. Now, what I found cool going back to this album in particular for me was you can hear the calling cards of their sound really being put down as far back as this album. So this is a few albums ago now. It's like almost 10 years ago now when you start thinking about things.
Yeah, 2015.
Right. But this one here, for me, you can hear there's little parts of the songs and the composition that if you're a fan of the band, you'll hear little footnotes or calling cards of what they're doing in albums to come later on, which is really cool to sort of go back in time and see those seeds being planted, those little Easter eggs there. It shows the sort of depth in planning and thought of the overall art in the project in what this is going on with. I think it still sounds great. These guys have A1 production every fucking time, and you can't falter. Like these guys sound phenomenal. I know there's a lot of controversy about who played what. Not really controversy. It's mostly Tobias Forge, which we know now. But at the time of this one, I think it's still when the Nameless Ghouls were Nameless Ghouls, and there was a bit of a mistake about the band, but it all got blown away by a court lawsuit later on.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it still sounds great. The performances are phenomenal. The songwriting is second to none. And what I found really cool about the bonus edition here, even though it's like Square Hammer is the original track on this one, but they've done a bunch of covers after that, like 4 covers, I think, after that as well in this deluxe edition. And I love how they made those versions of these songs their own. Like, they really fit the Ghost feel and motif. Like, they've made them all fit the Ghost shtick, which is it's all a big shtick. It's all a bit of fun and games, but they've made those songs really fit the vibe. It flies by, even with those bonus tracks on there. I didn't realize that when you listen to it, it simply flies by. Like, it's 65 minutes for the bonus edition, but it doesn't feel like an hour. It really doesn't. I just think that they've done an incredible great performances, great writing. I think the mix is fantastic. Like I was saying before, I love how, for me, this is where, like, Infestissimum had more of a almost a stoner rock kind of a vibe and sound to it overall compared to this one. This is where it's sort of like they've honed in and locked in that sound. When you look back on things where they are now to what they've done here, I think that this is like that landing point. The other stuff was great beforehand, but this is the one where it's like, okay, here's your launching pad, off you go. Great album craft on this one too. I mentioned the instrumental with Mr. Scary before on Dokken, but they use little instrumentals on this one to break things up as the album flows on. It makes it a great listen as well. It really does sort of help to make this one fly by, but also, again, it does lay those Easter eggs and footnotes for things to come later on too, which is fantastic. And just, again, the overall craft is really well done here. But for this band, I think people have been watching the show for quite some time. I've been championing these guys. I think this album, when it came out, was in my top 10s that year, if not my number one album for the year. It's a band that I simply love listening to. I enjoy everything they've done. But as the years have gone on, they've gotten better and better for me personally. But yeah, I still remember the person at Soundwave. Was it Soundwave or whatever it was? Or not Soundwave.
Yeah, Soundwave. It was Soundwave.
No, here. Download. You're right. I forget the name, but yeah, Download was here, and there was someone I bumped into at the tent when they were playing there, and they said the only reason they were there was because of the work we'd done on the show to the band. We had a random fan jump on and say, just jump up. Like he recognized me in this fucking blue tent where you can't see shit apart from the band. Someone spotted me and goes, "The only reason I'm here is because of you." Like, and that's like a hell of a compliment. Someone's gone to watch a band based on our feedback, and fuck me, it was worth it because live they were phenomenal. They were like the highlight of the fucking show for me that day.
Oh, absolutely.
They were fantastic. I know that Jeff, you've seen them since when they came on the last tour, but I love these guys to bits. They've gone on to bigger and better things as far as I'm concerned. But if you want to go back to, really where this band sort of, you can start anywhere with this band, but I think this might be the best place to start in a lot of respects for what comes after. And it also sets the tone for what goes beforehand as well. It's a good little midway point for everything they've done overall. So it's a good little starting point for these guys. But yeah, I love this band. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I give this 10 shots. I fucking love it. It's still fun to go back to after all these years. For me, it's nearly a decade into it now, and I still love going back to this album as well as the other ones before and after. So yeah, but highlight tracks, things like From the Pinnacle to the Pit, Cirice, He Is, that is a great track. And it's funny how that one's not a single or anything, but the amount of plays that's got streaming wise, it's like I think it's the third most played song on the album.
It's a cool video too. Yeah.
But also Absolution, Square Hammer, like for the bonus edition of this one, Square Hammer is a fucking cracking track. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I've waxed on it. So Jeff, I threw to you. I was going to throw to you originally, but we'll throw to you now.
Oh, sorry. Because I was up grabbing the album. I was like the album.
Cool.
Anyway, look, it's look, Ghost is a fantastic band. Now you have to sort of accept what they are about a little bit, and I know we may hear more of a dissenting opinion later. But having said that, they're Tobias Forge, or his real name Tobias Forga.
Yeah.
No one ever calls him Forga because everyone calls it looks like Forge. That's what it is.
It does look like, yeah.
It does look like Forge, but it's Forga. The thing is, this album is like you mentioned, pretty much everything you said I agree with. I think it's a great starting point for them, because I think if you actually go back to the previous two albums, those are not as user friendly.
I agree.
They're not, and so they're more for the guy or the person who likes this band, wants to check them out, then go back, because I think if you start there, it might actually turn you off and you might make a fan.
To cut you off here, we did review Jimmy, Dennis, and myself reviewed Infesticium, and it didn't go that well overall as a review for the three of us.
I can understand that.
When this one came out, different game for a lot of us on the show. Yeah. So it changed the dynamic.
And I totally agree with that. I think that, their first album and the second album, they're more for the diehards.
Yeah.
Really, they are. I think that they're really good, but they're just not as accessible as this album. This album, they won a fucking Grammy for Cirice. And so, that's mainstream right there. That the popularity that they got just from that would have been just through the roof. Song.
The video is cool too. For the
record. Oh yeah, the video's awesome. But look, and I told you a story. I remember the story. So I went and saw. I was at Download as well, and I saw them. I had a choice of seeing Slayer, and I watched about 10 or 15 minutes of Slayer, and I said, my buddy who wanted to see Slayer, and didn't know Ghost from any Hole in the Ground, and so I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta go see Ghost. There's no fucking way I've got to go see Ghost.
Yeah.
So I dragged him from Slayer. There was this big fire pit, and they were burning. I don't know if you saw it, but they had burned all this shit in the middle. I'm like, holy fuck, they're gonna burn the place down. Anyway, And they were going off, but I was like, I was happy that I was happy that because I'd never seen Slayer, but I was happy that I at least saw some of them.
Yeah, I'd seen them before, which made it easier for me to move on. So
yeah. But for me, it was like, no, I'm going to see Ghost. So I dragged him. We get into there, right? We get in the tent, and the tent. It took a long time. Like we could have stayed and watched probably half a fucking Slayer set. By the time we got into the Ghost, it was just like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And eventually, it seemed like we were in there for about a half an hour before it started, and it was hot as fuck. Yeah. It was hot as fuck in there. You couldn't breathe. There was no air.
And then in a tent, it was fucked. Yeah.
And there was this guy beside me with no fucking shirt on, long fucking curly hair, and a mop. And
it wasn't me.
It wasn't you, no. And he was sweating, and I could smell BO. Yeah. And he was just like, "Hail Satan! Right. Hail Satan!" And I'm just like, I know, man. I'm looking at this guy going, "Oh, for fuck's sakes!" And then I look over at my buddy, and my buddy's looking at me like, "Jeff, like this is what I'm thinking he's saying." He's looking at me with this look, shaking his head, going, "What in the fuck have you got me into?" And he wanted to leave. Like I know he wanted to get the fuck out of there, but I said, "No, man, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love it." So we stayed, and I was fucking in seventh heaven, really, watching Ghost, and then they came out and played, and they won him over. By the end of the show, he was like, "Holy fuck, they're great." I said, "Yeah, see." So don't judge it based on that fucking idiot, because I don't know what that guy was on, but he had to be on something.
There's people in every crowd.
Dickheads, I get it. That's fine. I don't care. To each their own. But getting back to the album, this album is just well, I mean, I don't even I've got the non-deluxe edition here. This is this doesn't have Square Hammer or anything like that on it. It ends in in Deus. What is it? Deus in Absentia. Yeah. So that's the last track, and then there's 5 extra tracks.
Yeah.
And Conrad, there's a song on here called "The Bible." You should listen to it. You'd like it.
It's actually done really well. It's a good cover.
Well. It's like it's taken right out of fucking Genesis. They're not talking about anything. It's just the Genesis.
Yeah,
you'd like it.
Oh, it's actually scripture that's quoted.
Yeah, well,
quoting scripture.
It's not quoting scripture, but it's Just check it out if you haven't.
It's not a piss take.
They're not taking a piss. They're not taking the piss. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. But look, the album's great. I love it. Fucking, as I said, if you haven't got on the Ghost, this is the perfect place to jump in because this album is fucking fantastic. It gets 10 shots from me. I love it. Their next album, a masterpiece.
Prequel is brilliant, but
absolutely, yeah. So I when I got Prequel, I fucking put it in my car stereo, and it did not come out of my car stereo for like a year. It was fucking every fucking day, 2 and 4, back and forth to work. That's all I listened to.
I think that this album started like a run where whenever Ghost released an album, was my number 1 album for the year. I think Meliora started it, then it became Prequel, and then became Impera after that. It's like they're so good at what they do.
Such 3 incredibly strong albums. But this is the album to start with. And go from there and work your way backwards eventually. But 10 shots from me. Can't help it. 10 shots of the highest grade, best stuff you can get.
Yeah, top shelf 10 shots.
Top
there
shelf.
You go. Yeah. All right, Conrad, let's go to you.
Well, for obvious reasons, I avoided listening to
I know.
Spiritually, it kind of doesn't really gel with my spiritual beliefs. It might attack them. I don't know if it attacks them or not.
This one probably is the least that does so. This is more about the absence of faith and religion more than attacking religion at all. It's about the absence of it than anything else.
I don't know. But
so this is
without getting into that too much, we'll be here for ages. So I just found that probably I might find it uncomfortable to listen. So to read the lyrics.
It's to be fun. So it's not fun, don't do it. Yeah.
So being a God botherer. Yes. Yeah. So
it's all right. It's meant to be fun. And this is the whole thing. We all put something forward. It's all meant to be fun. But that's the thing too. We've said it to everyone all along. It's just make sure that it's enjoyable. If it's not enjoyable, just skip it and move on. That's the whole point of this thing. But if you're here, get any thoughts you got, if any, that's cool.
Yep.
Dave,
musically, I probably enjoy them.
Yeah. I think you would.
Musically,
Yeah,
man.
I think you would enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should you make you a playlist of the instrumentals and make you listen to those and just see how you went with that? That'd be interesting.
Instrumentals are fucking.
I have actually seen them. I actually got them a couple of times. I saw them at Sound. Where I was working. What was that? Soundwave. I saw them on that.
Okay.
And then a guy I know who I used to DJ for actually here in London used to put rock nights on as a DJ for his nights, and he ended up playing. He's a session player. Played with them. He's one of the passless ghouls. He played with them for
nameless ghouls
toured with them for a while. Yeah, he toured with them for a while. So I was there to support him. I went along and at Bloodstock and watched him at Bloodstock.
Oh
yeah, yeah, they were good. I went tonight. They were good. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, no, they're one of those bands where it is that whole thing where it's the opposite version of like where some people feel this way about this band, other people feel the same way about Striper, for example. People can't get past certain aspects of Striper, whereas I think you can take it all in if you're able to, and it can, you can take whatever joy you can out of it, kind of thing. Some people can, some people can't, and that's not a judgment thing. It's just people feel a certain moment when they hear a thing, and that's just emotions expressed. That's what music's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave put this forward. Dave, to play on the whole Hail Satan thing, Dave said to give it 10 Hail Satans out of 10. Because this is Dave being Dave, having a bit of fun, and everyone else.
He's been on a ghost kick after seeing the movie.
He has, because he's been playing this album back to back and that teaching himself how to play these songs on guitar lately. So he's been on a massive ghost kick. So it finally clicked for him, where the love that I've had for years finally rubbed off on Dave a bit. We just got to get him to go with Night Flight Orchestra next. That's the last fucking pin to fall for Dave. He'll hate me saying that, but if I can get him to, if Night Flight Orchestra release another album and he likes that one, he'd be like, he's the last domino to fall, and be like, fucking yes, THRS domination from that band as well. But anyway, Ghost one of those bands where it's sort of worked its way through the membership and everyone's sort of fallen in love with it along the way. But yeah, so far, but Dave finally clicked over the last couple, and he's gone, fuck yeah, this is amazing. He's been really on that ghost kick, like Jeff mentioned, playing the songs at home with his kids and that too. So it's that's where I think for me it's a cool band, because they're able to get people talking and listening to rock music in the main, or like I heard these guys being played in EB games of all places. Like, they're one of those bands that just will be played anywhere. Because it's
interesting. They get played in goth club. I go to goth clubs as well as rock and metal clubs. I go to goth clubs and they get played in goth clubs. So so there you are.
What's that
alongside Sisters of Mercy band, like Sisters of Mercy, you'll hear this thrown in. You'll hear Ghost thrown in as well.
Dance Macabre would be the song they're playing in nightclubs, man. Dance Macabre is such a catchy fucking thing. It's like,
isn't that the one where is that the one that goes, are you on the square, are you on the level? Right?
No, that's Square Hammer on this one. Yeah,
right.
That's on this one. So okay, cool. That's the one. But the one I'm talking about goes, I just want to be with you in the moonlight, kind of thing. And it's got such a
which sounds like he's saying I want to be with you, but I want to be with you. Which is awesome. Yeah.
It's such a clever hook. It's so well done. But anyway, we're waxing lyrical about this band now too. We can keep going on. Let's get the audience comments. Jason says, Kevin, lucky guy. I wish I was there. Back to Monsters Rock there for a second. Yes, definitely. I think we all do. Michael says, Ghost at Download was fantastic. They blew me away that day. Then seeing them on their own tour recently was something to remember. Jeff did say the same thing when he saw them live.
Yes.
Jason says, got all my Ghost catalog at Utopia. Great band, great store too. Utopia Records are a great fucking bastion of rock metal in Australia, so good to see you supporting those guys. Bash says, Meliora is a great album. It's a standout track. Cirice is a masterpiece. The video is one of the best I've seen. It's very hypnotic, and I felt like I was under a spell. It's awesome. 10 shots. So there we go. There's more love from Basher. Michael says, Ghost, quality band, and Cirice introduced them to me back in the Candy Mist of time. 9 shots for this album. Nicely done. And Larry's here going, hit the like button. Thank you for the kind words there, Larry. Please do, people. Hit the like button. Thank you for jumping in. Good time. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you comment before, so thank you for jumping in. Again, especially if you're new, we know a lot of the regulars, but if you're new, let us know where you're tuning in from as well. We'd like to know where you're all watching from. All right. Next up is Conrad's Choice. So we're going to flip things around now. So in the comments and the description, there's a reference track for you to check out. It's Entombed with Wolverine Blues, which happens to be the title track of this album here. So Entombed Wolverine Blues is 10 tracks, 35 minutes, the third studio album from another Swedish band, released October 1993 by Earache Records, produced by Thomas Skogsberg. One single was released in Hollow Man, but there was a video also released for the title track, which I've obviously shared here. There's no real chart info for this one, but it's worth noting that the original version of this ripped samples from films including Flatliners and Hellraiser 3, which were dropped as later releases went on as they were unlicensed. So that could have been rolling. But on that note, with that being said, despite the band wanting nothing to do with Wolverine, this was released in an edited form with an image of Wolverine on the cover, after the label did a deal with overall, to make that a bit of fun there. In 2005, this album was ranked number 494 in Hard Rock Magazine's The 500 Greatest Rock and Metal Albums of All Time. This was Conrad's pick, like I was saying. So let's get stuck into this. Oh, sorry, before we do, Larry says, I'm in the United States. YouTube algorithm got me here. Thank you for jumping in. You and Kevin over in the US there. Good to see you. So, it's good to see some US people over here. Thank you for jumping in, Larry. Thank you for letting us know where you're from. Hopefully, you're keeping well over there. But yeah, Conrad, this was your choice. So, what made you give us this one to go through?
Sorry, what did you say they rated it 494?
They did. Hard Rock Magazine rated it 494. God. In 2005.
It should be way higher, way further. Brilliant record. Be in my top 20, easy.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, I love this record. Look, before they hit this album, they were a death metal band and very Swedish death metal band.
Change. Yeah,
they changed their sound for this record. So they were quite big part of the Swedish death metal sound. Of which I'm not really too familiar with. I discovered them on this record.
Yeah.
And I as soon as I heard this, I just went, what the fuck is this? I was working in a rock metal record store in Camden, actually in Carnaby Street at the time in London. And the guys put this on and I was just like, what the fuck is this? This is fucking fantastic. The sound, the grittiness, the tones in this, the tones in it. So gritty. The production on this I love. I would really, this is the kind of tone I like. This is the sound I really love.
Yeah.
And it was just big, fat, heavy riffs, big, fat, rolling, pumbling riffs with this death metal vocal over the top. It had not been done before. This had never been done before. It's the first band they come along with a totally original, change their sound and yet hit on something that made them totally original, and nobody else sounded anything like this. And still to this day, no one can duplicate.
Like they started that whole death and roll thing with this album.
Yes,
so.
And then they got the tag death and roll on this record. And the two albums prior to this were more traditional death metal sounding, a lot faster. And then this is just it's for stoner rock fans. They'll love it as well. For bands that like Blind by Corrosion of Conformity, you'll probably like this as well. And maybe Caius fans might like this as well. It's just got, even maybe Ghost fans might like this. I don't know. There's something about it, but it's certainly got riffage with some melody in there as well. You got some nice melody, nice hooks. It's just in your face, and it fucking roars. It just roars. Literally roars. It actually is just a real fucking crushing sound. And then I can't help but just gush over. I'm like, fuck that's the shit. I got to see them on this tour, and it was
wow. That'd have been fucking nuts.
It was one of the most I've never seen so much blood, claret flying through the air of my life. The crowd was
that would have been a great show.
Mental. The people coming out with their heads, the Zambos out the front of the gig, the people coming out with their heads just open. It was just it was insane. It was carnage. It was full on carnage. People just diving off the fucking stacks off the side stacks into the audio. It was just mental. And I was loving every second. I'm going to die here, but I'm happy. Happy. I die. This is how I'm going out.
Cool.
Brutal as fuck. It was fantastic. So yes. So for people that like big, fat, heavy guitars, crushing riffs, you're going to love this. And I like his vocal style, his vocal delivery on this as well, because you can understand what he's singing. And I think that's important. With death metal vocals, sometimes you can't understand what they're singing.
Yes,
this you can understand. You can understand the lyrics, so it's great. So yes, this kicks it out the park. This is fucking 11 shots for me.
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
Loose standards, yeah.
This one goes to 11. Yes, absolutely.
No.
So, yeah.
There's an obligatory response, that reference.
For those that aren't familiar with it, check it out.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
Cool.
We would like to hear that. So over to you guys. What do you
I'll
guys
get
reckon
Jeff
of it?
to jump in a second, but just quickly, because I'm curious, genuinely curious, that the lyrical content of this one, how do you find that one for you? Because I find it flirts that line a little bit. How do you balance, or how does it feel for you? Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't think it doesn't offend me. You got to
no,
understand.
It's not attacking. It's just more allegorical, I guess.
Yeah,
But it's
I mean, if it gets to a point where I'll end up not fucking be able to listen to fucking.
Yeah, I know. That's a thing, isn't it? Yeah. You got to be
metal realm. In the rock metal realm, I'll be like, what can I bloody well listen to? Everything.
Yeah, Conrad's into Barry Manilow now.
I think with some bands they might do it out of image. Some bands they might do it out of imagery, or do it because it's the rock and roll thing to do, the metal thing to sing about. I don't necessarily think that they believe it, or that it's meant
this
to be taken
felt more
seriously,
observational to me, which is why I was curious.
Or meant to be taken too serious, or do they really believe it and practice and worship and fucking sacrifice fucking babies and shit like that? Don't get me wrong, there are some bands out there that probably do fucking have these. I don't doubt. This doesn't strike me that way. This strikes me as a bit more Kiss kind of horror kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's more of like the death metal version of Kiss, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just. Yeah. It's just a curiosity.
No, you're right, because I've got to draw a fine line. I like Danzig vocally and musically. I like Danzig, but then fuck his lyrics. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Get this. This is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I don't listen to it. But because I have to look at the lyrics and go, "Ooh, what's that about?" I don't. Cannibal Corpse doesn't appeal to me because
that would be something else.
Singing about mutilation just doesn't.
Can you understand lyrics from Cannibal Corpse?
No, I don't think anyone can.
I think you can understand that.
I don't want to understand them because they're pretty
singing fucking Hallmark cards for all we fucking know. You can't understand what
could be. Them and Pig Destroyer both fucking
this, I think this is more comic book kind of.
Okay, yeah, cool.
That's
right. No, it's just it was just me being genuinely curious, because when you start digging into it, I was like, especially because you mentioned you can hear everything. I'm like, it's curious to me, like just how. But it's just I'm glad that just wanted to have the chat.
No, fair comment.
Cool. All right. Well, Jeff. Anyway, I did preface I was going to throw to you. Sorry, Conrad. You want to say something else?
Something else? Go ahead.
No. Just this strikes me as a little bit more comic books, sort of. I guess you could say lyrically than it being to be taken seriously, and they're worshipping. They're sucking Satan's cock. I don't believe that. No, they're not.
It's almost just like more of like just a topic to write about rather than
than a belief system.
Other than the likes of Danzig or Deicide or things like that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Anyway, Jeff.
Okay, so now I know this album. I don't know what like Conrad knows it, and I hadn't heard it in quite a number of years. Where I realized I have not heard this album probably since the mid '90s. Really, I haven't heard it that long. So it's been 30 years, right?
Yeah.
And I think it came out in '93.
93.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I probably haven't heard it since '94, '95, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And it would have been at a buddy's place. He was into all this shit, right? So I was like, it wouldn't have been mine. It would have been, I was just in the room when it was playing, right? So I wasn't even paying attention, really. It was just background music while we're, sitting around smoking and doing whatever. No, I quit smoking in 1990, that sort of smoke, but just cigarettes, whatever. Yeah. But so I listened to it. And I was like, whoa, I actually had forgotten this album. And I was like, do I like this? Do I like this? And I actually did not enjoy it at all until I got to the song Contempt. Then I got
I'm
like, this is fucking great. This is great.
That's a standout for me too. I love Contempt. That's a great song.
It is. And so then I let the album play out, and then I went back to the start, and I listened to it again. I'm like, okay,
that was your gateway. Yeah.
All right. Now I get this. All right. And like, because now I'm actually listening to it and I'm focusing on it. Whereas before it was passive. I don't even know. I can't remember shit. But I know I heard it. But so then once I got it with that song Content, I'm like, this is fucking great. This is fucking really great. Like these guys, like they've done something special here with this album. And and I know their story. I know that before this, that was like they were like almost like a completely different band. So what they did here, it's pretty special. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. The musicianship is fantastic. I really love the grooves. Lots of so much grooves in the guitar and stuff that made me want to grab my guitar and fucking play along with it. Because most times I was driving the guitar, so that would have been fun. But me driving down the road with my fucking guitar.
That'd be funny.
So, well, I could do it because I'm a lefty. I could just stick the fucking guitar neck out the window.
Yeah, do it Mr. Bean style, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of British shows.
Did he do that? Oh, I don't know. Well, anyway, but look, loved it. Thought it was really, really good. I'm not gonna go like say it's brilliant. So I'm not gonna go 9. I'm not gonna go 10, but I'm gonna give it 8. And that's pretty pretty good. So I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, definitely check this out, people.
Yeah.
Off to you, Andrew.
No, cool. Unlike you guys, I'd never really sat down and listened to this album in full before. So for me, it was a new experience. I've checked out the band before at Conrad's recommendation. I've checked out the title track in particular. But it's one of those, all of us have this never-ending list of bands you're going to get to someday. You'll never get to them all, but it's fucking whatever. So on that list, after listening to this one, though, it's higher up the list. Like, I've got to go and check out more from this band before and after this one. They've got quite a few albums out. The last one was about a decade ago, though, so hopefully they'll do something.
JP's dead now. The singer's dead.
The singer died.
That would be, that would probably fuck that up, won't it? My bad. So probably not. But yeah, they did. I know they broke up and got back together again and whatever else. They were just doing a quick little read through. But yeah, I haven't really. It's one of those bands again that you want to go and spend more time with. This, but after listening to this one, that's sort of made it more important for me to go and do so because I did enjoy this one quite a lot. For me, in my world of listening to things, this is like Slayer meets Sepultura meets Geezer and more. Like this is really heavy, really gritty, super riff driven, like has been touched on. Super riff driven, really chunky. This one has some real bite in the vocals as well, and the lyrics side of things too, which makes up. There is melody here, but there's less melody than a lot of the other albums we're talking about here. This is no fucking Dokken, I'll put it that way. This is much more aggressive and direct than that. A lot more growly. But that attack,
I think it's definitely a record you put on. You got to be in the right headspace for the right mood at the time. True. It's something you put on before you're going out to or if you want a positive vent, if you're angry and want to let some things out, this is a good album to do as well.
Exactly. There's a lot of anger here.
Certainly that attack is relentless. Fucking brutal.
It's a cathartic sort of an album. It'll either pump you up or it'll get things out of your system. It's one of those kind of things. But yeah, I thought that more attacking, less melodic style really suited the music. I get the whole death and roll thing, which makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of groove in this, which is cool as well. But I thought on certain tracks here and there are some great solos that really make you sit up and get your attention. Like there are some solos here that cut through. It's like, whoa, hang on, that's a real standout because it's so riff driven. When they come through and they really cut through, it's like a big highlight moment when you listen to it. Some real darkness in this thing as well, which is cool, which is nice. To be honest, this is kind of meaner than I expected it to be. I know I listened to the track and a few bits, but this is actually really mean, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. Some nice gear changes in this one, like that use of groove, tempo, all that kind of stuff to make the album interesting because they didn't make this bludgeoning. Like for the duration of this one, which is half an hour. Yeah, okay, it flies by, but they really made a lot go into that half an hour, which made this really engaging, interesting, and listenable all the way through instead of just pounding your head in.
It's diverse.
Songs don't drag.
No. They're all, nothing overstays is welcome. Everything is, there's enough gear changes in here to keep it interesting, as opposed to being just a bludgeoning attack the whole way through. There's subtlety and depth and all those sorts of things that you want from a listen. My next note is they managed to use groove, light, and shade really well to sort of, to make the whole point. I have to admit the slower, more pensive tracks on this one, like Hollow Man, really got my attention. I liked those slower, more groove-laden tracks. I've always been into the groove side of things when it comes to the heavier side of music. I've loved it when they use a lot of groove. So for me, it gets my attention. Lyrically, wow, a lot going on there. There's some really interesting stuff being, vented.
Who examines the doctors?
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. There's some real deep stuff in this one too, which is really cool. And I liked how it was almost a poetic approach to the storytelling as well. It wasn't just blunt in your face. There's a lot of depth to that as well, which is, and being able to hear it clearly as well as read along with it was really, really nicely done. So I even honestly think, wow, like there's some thinkable, some stuff to make you think in there too. So for me, I would have been really curious on the flip side of this about Dave's take on it as well, because Dave usually doesn't like the aggressive vocals, but because it's so clear and the storytelling involved, I would have loved to have heard Dave's take on this one as well, but he couldn't make it tonight. But that would have been really cool to get his opinion on this as well, just as a counterpoint to everything else in this too.
Well, he usually hates everything I like.
No, but at the same time, he likes when you can hear lyrics clearly.
Dave has said that many times,
and that's what I would have loved to
like it. Yeah.
And also the horror side of things in this one, I think Dave would have been hooked on that too. So I would have been really curious about Dave and where he landed on this one, because I think he would have liked it more than he would have expected. Knowing his taste, I might be wrong, but just for me on the outside looking in, I reckon Dave would have been a really interesting case point, because I get into this stuff easier than Dave.
I'd like to hear what he thinks on this.
Well, maybe next week he can just mention.
Maybe if he gets a chance to listen to it, but I enjoyed it a lot. It's interesting, it's cool, it's heavy. I need to get to know the band better, like I was saying before. For me, this is going to sound mean because I know that Conrad loves it, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I wonder, it's unique, but when it comes to this style of music these days, I'm probably going to lean to what I got into before this band. So things like Geezer I'm more familiar with and have a longer history with than this band. So if I'm going to listen to this style of music, I'll probably go to Abath with his death and roll style of music, the solo stuff, or I'd go to Geezer as a first case, first call kind of thing. But that said,
Geezer as in GZR.
Yeah.
As in GZR.
Yeah. Like when you get into that stuff, like there's some stuff there. Yeah. Like that, there's some really cool moments in there. So when I want to get, like, not that this is directly like that, but if I want to go into this world, that would be where I'd be more touchstone based than this band.
I think maybe for people that like Down, they might like this.
Yeah. There is that groove and that like you said, that stoner rock side of things as well. But I think it's more attacking in a general sense than stoner rock tends to be. But in terms of how it's a crossover appeal, definitely I agree with that. But I think that they're very, very good at what they do. And like I said, I wanted to go and check out a lot more of this band. It's not like I'm one and done. I want to get to know this band a lot more than this album. But this is very, very good. I enjoyed this one quite a lot. I'm like Jeff, I'm going to give it 8 shots, but I enjoyed this one quite a lot. Tracks, this one were Contempt, Hell, Hollow Man, Heaven's Die, and Out of Hand. Out of Hand? Blistering fucking song. Like, there is some great stuff in here. Like, if you want to get into the meat, the nitty gritty of some songs and get really fucking visceral on some things, this album has something for you. Like, it gets dark. Like, it's got some stuff going on in there. There's some stuff to process, which I like albums that give you that to go through. So for me, I enjoyed this one quite a bit. So thank you, Conrad, for actually. This is why I wanted to bring this sort of a theme into proceedings, because I wanted to make it to give us all a chance to showcase something that we all enjoy and see how everyone goes. We did the torture themes for years. I didn't want to make it so that we had to pick something we'd probably try and piss other people off. I wanted to just bring something of ourselves to the table. And so I wanted to do this one. And I think it's great to get that context from all of us here tonight for all of our different tastes on things. So Conrad, thank you for bringing it to us. I enjoyed this one quite a lot. I want to go and check out more.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Let's see what the audience have to say about this. What do we got here? Michael says, Conrad the Guillotine, not happy with that Mags rating, must be karma. So there we go. With the magazine's rating at the top of it, like you weren't happy with it being 4.94 or whatever it was. So it's a
no, I wasn't happy with that.
So he's saying it's karma getting you back for being the guillotine on other things.
Now
That's the context. Kevin's gone, Larry, we need to go all the way to Australia for the best music show on YouTube. Thank you for the kind words, man. That is super kind. We'd love to have you out here if you ever come out here. So let us know if you do make it to Australia.
Thank you.
Very nicely done. Kieran says the Cookie Monster gets a bad rap being associated with death metal. That's a fair comment.
He does. Yeah.
That's what I'd love to hear, a Cookie Monster fucking mix of some things.
I think they've done that. They have done that. Yeah.
Have they?
That was a Dave
Yes,
Mustaine.
that.
It was a Dave
Cookie
Mustaine
Monster
quote.
has done death metal and shit.
Dave
Yeah,
Mustaine
there's stuff on YouTube.
Okay. I want to see. Someone's got to do a video of that. I want to actually see a Cookie Monster doing a pig
I think
destroyer song.
he did something, and I can't because I don't think they matched it up right, and he was like wearing cookies in his mouth. They were fucking flying everywhere. It was like heavy. He's just like going nuts. It was fucking crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that will be cool. But yeah, I hope I'm coming through. It's getting a bit choppy for me at my end. I hope it's just me.
Conrad just went blip on me, but I realized that might have been me. I don't know.
I'm seeing Jeff freezing up here, but you're
okay. So it's
right,
not me then.
Andrew.
Maybe it's Jeff's connection for once.
It's mine.
Jeff's looking blurry and frozen. Yeah,
it could be that because Scott just got home, so he may be on the internet.
Rightio.
Let me I'll do a speed test. You guys do.
Well, you do the speed test, Jeff. Brett has gone. Best show by far, Kevin Garland. These guys know their stuff. Thank you very much for the kind words, Brett. Really appreciate that as well. So thank you for jumping in and saying some kind words for us there. Love the love, which is great to hear. From you all as well. So thank you for that. All right, one more album to get through before we get out of here tonight. And this is my choice for this week, for this episode. And so the reference track for you is a song called Coming For You by a little band called 12 Foot Ninja. So for my choice this week, it's in the comments and the description box. So go and check out the song. But 12 Foot Ninja, Silent Machine is the album. 12 tracks, 45 minutes. The debut studio album from the Melbourne band, released November 2012 via Volcanic Music. So back into our neck of the woods here. Produced by guitarist Steve Stevich McKay. 2 singles are released in Mother Sky and Coming For You. While there's no real chart info for this one, this album did kickstart things for the band, allowing them to play sold-out shows in London, as well as others across Europe and North America. It also saw the band do a national tour here in Australia, as well as successfully crowdfund a video for the album song Ain't That a Bitch. This was my choice for this theme tonight. I wanted to go back to this one because as the show got started in 2011, got on TV in 2012, this is one of the first bands we sort of come across doing things in Australia. And a week ago or something now, they announced their official breakup. They've been on hiatus for a little bit, but they announced their official breakup and released their final album for everyone to enjoy, which is an acoustic version of a lot of their songs, which is something different out there to go and check out. Only on Bandcamp, not on streaming at all. There's one single on streaming, so if you want to check out more of this band on that particular release, you'll have to go and do the Bandcamp or the direct to the band, go to their website, kind of 12 Ninja, to go and check out that one. But otherwise, the rest of their stuff is on streaming services, which is why I want to go to this one. I've had the distinct pleasure of seeing these guys live. I've interviewed Russ from the band before, which is a great interview, which Nikki helped set up. And aside from Dave, I don't think we've gone over this album in the past, where Dave and I did a special a few years ago where it was Carnival, 12 Foot Ninja, and Butterfly Effect as a part of a special episode. We did a whole lot of love as a live presentation. But anyway, Blast in the Past was my choice for this week. Well, Jeff is getting himself sorted out there, so we'll get to that in a second. But for me, before I get into the album itself directly, while it's just Conrad and myself here, so it's just me at the moment, while Conrad's getting busy doing something else. I love their videos. This band, I love their videos to bits. Easily one of the funniest and most creative bands out there in that regard. That creativity in general is on full display across this entire album from beginning to end, as far as I'm concerned. Right from the opening track, Coming For You, you get a wild ride with these guys, but they're chock full of talent, and they really are one of the more unique outfits out there. I know there's, obvious comparisons to things like Mr. Bungle, for example, but these guys really had no boundaries, and anything and everything goes when it comes to what these guys are capable of. This has everything from gent to jazz to fucking piano ballads to whatever the fuck you can think of, but it's loaded with attitude and melody from beginning to end. There's some really damn heavy shit in this album, but there's also genuine sort of breathtaking beauty to go alongside it. You've got all these little digital noises that Dave would usually hate, but it's so well used on this album. I think the mixing, the balance of everything going on, there's a lot going on here. It's incredibly well done to get that right and to get it so smooth. It's hard to get it done so well that they nailed it. But also love the clarity. Speaking of clarity on vocals, this album gives a lot of clarity to the vocals too, which the lyrics are fantastic across the board here, as is Nick's, the vocalist performance, especially his harmonizing vocal to give that extra impact to these songs. That side of the band deserves to be front and center, but it is, but at the same time, it's a part of the whole, not bluntly out front, but they're so well mixed in that it's just nice, smooth, and well done. It really does fit the vibe nice. So we drag Jeff back into proceedings here. Good to see you again.
Thanks,
I think that this one has great use of space and panning. Has all the drama, not only in the composition and performances, but also in the mixing of this album as well. I think it's riveting. It's well done from beginning to end. This whole thing is just attention grabbing and in the best way possible. I know that for me, Coming For You is a great way to sort of really show this band in one song, but also Mother Sky is one of those ones that has a stunning level of beauty and wonder in it as well. And a listen in full to any one of their amazing catalog of songs will show you that there is so much to digest from this outfit. There's so much to take in, but so that no matter how many times you listen to these albums, and I've listened to this album a lot. This last week, in the past, I've listened to this album more times than I can really fucking count. But you'll keep making new discoveries every single time you put their albums on. And that, for me, is just a real testament to the talent across the board, because they mix it themselves too. So between writing, performance, mixing, all of it, there's just so much to digest for years to come. And even though they've called it a day, we'll be able to enjoy that for decades after this, which is fantastic. It's a hell of a legacy to leave. This whole album is just a ride for me. It's a trip. It's an awe-inspiring journey. You get all the extremes you can think of. So I've mentioned the heavy stuff, the light stuff, but there's also other things in there that you won't think of that come through in this album that will strike you out of left field. It'll be like a weird hook that just gets you. You just get so much out of a 45-minute album in this listen. It's hard to describe or quantify exactly what this is. I couldn't put it into a particular genre. I think the closest thing you could probably find is that avant-garde tag. That's about the closest you'll get. This is just something that's interesting, different, hard to categorize, and so they have to find a label somewhere. But it's metal, but in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. Good news for you. If you like any one of these songs, you're going to like the rest of the catalog. It's one of those things where you'll know pretty quick if you like the band or not, because they are going to test your boundaries. But if you like something that's a bit more bombastic and interesting, this is going to do it for you. You'll both be dumbstruck and singing along in no time. Like, it'll take one spin to get you singing along to some of these hooks, because they will get your attention if you give it that moment of your time. Their use of hooks. I've mentioned everything else. The use of hooks for these guys and their writing performances. It's so well done. These songs stay with you well after they're finished. No matter how bombastic and wild things get, the songs and the hooks will stay in your head for a long time. It's exceptionally hard to do that with music like this, but they've done it so well, let alone that these guys did it for so many years and in so many ways. You can pick any place to start with these guys because everything is so good, but I think this, for me, is the sweet spot to start with. It's the first album. It makes the most sense. I've got a couple of EPs beforehand. And the albums are sort of fantastic as well. I've loved these guys from beginning to end. But yeah, this band from Melbourne really did scale some serious fucking heights. I wish they were still going. I know, Mike, we got a comment about that in the comments, which I'll get to later on. But still, they've left behind some great art. Not only music for us to enjoy, but there's also art in so many ways. There's comics, there's novels, there's videos, and more from these guys. It's a really completely genuine artistic journey watching these guys go from beginning to where they stopped this year. They're a one-of-a-kind band. They're special to me. I hope that some of you out there, it won't be for everyone, this band, but I hope that some of you out there will fall in love the same way that I have. Like I said, I know this isn't for everyone, but at the same time, they're one of those bands that even though they're so interesting or hard to categorize, they will hook more people than they lose because it's so damn good and so well done. The talent alone is worth it. I wish them well on their next journeys. We've already heard some. I know Russ has been doing some other projects, I think with Jeff Martin lately. I know that Nick is doing another project, which we've talked about on the TV version of the show before as well. So I know that we're getting some new music from different projects over the years, other members from this band, but I do wish everyone involved all the best. I know that Stevich is an interesting character as well. He's got a YouTube stuff, so just go and check out the band. But for me, I love this album. Obviously, I picked it. I'm going to give it 10 shots. I have to, don't I? Really? It's one of those albums that it's hard to quantify, but it is just a special beast. Coming for you, Kingdom, Mother Sky, Liberation. Ain't that a bitch? But the whole album is fucking cracking. So just check it out, please, people, and let us know what you think. But that's my rant about this album. I love it to bits. I've loved this band for years. Russ, I've spoken to you in the past. If you ever see this one, well done and a fantastic career with 12 Ninja. All the best for everything going on. Hopefully your better half and the little ones are keeping well and healthy as well as yourself. But anyway, that's me done. Jeff, let's throw to you next. How did you go with this one?
All right.
The most fun album of the night.
Well, at first, I put this on and I realized I'd never listened to them. I didn't know this band at all. I've heard them. I've heard of them. I know, I've heard you mention them, and I know they've been around for a while. Am I echoing?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. And so I was like, wow, I didn't know what I was listening to. Because I went into it with no expectations. I didn't know anything. And so other than the fact that, you have talked about them, mentioned them and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay. And it was really, it was very interesting, as you put, interesting listen. And I listened to the album once and I was like, how do I put that into words?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very, very difficult. And that, I think, is the charm to it.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. That's even now, I'm at a bit of a loss, other than to say, fucking brilliant band, brilliant fucking band. Like, seriously, like, how is it that these guys had went under my radar really for so long? And this is a debut, right? Like, holy fuck! Like, how do you go into a studio and record something like this? Like, it hurts my head thinking about like
how self-produced makes that a bit easier, but at the same time, I get your point. Yeah,
but it's so complex and it's so interesting, and it goes in weird places that you don't see coming. A lot of music, what makes a lot of music, doesn't matter who it is you're listening to, is that you kind of know what's around the corner in some ways, and these guys, bang, whoa, what the fuck?
Expectations every time.
Before you realize what's just happened, they're hitting you again with something else. And so, I really enjoyed this. I listened to it again, and my second time around really was more of an appreciation, because the first time it was like, what? Wow. Like, I didn't have words. And so afterwards, I was able to listen to it again. The next day, I let it sort of percolate.
You gotta take it in a bit. Yeah,
that's right. And like, I really like this guy. So they've got other albums. They've done more than this.
Yeah, there's 2 other albums after this one. So
two other albums. I'll have to go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Look, these guys are fucking great. So I really enjoyed it, and you really took me off guard completely with your pick here, and so thank you for that. And I'm only pissed off with myself that I never listened to them before this. So thank you very much. This is great. So I'm gonna give this. It's hard not to. It's a brilliant album. It's hard not to give it a 10. It's getting a 10.
Wow. Cool. Didn't expect that, because it is one of those ones that can challenge you in unexpected ways.
It does challenge, but that's the beauty of it. Right? A lot of music is just you in one out the other, right?
Yeah.
This sort of doesn't do that. It sort of challenges you.
Nice. Cool. I'm glad I got
hard to do. Yeah.
I got the win there. That's cool, man. If you like this, you're gonna like whatever else they've done. There's a couple of EPs and some other albums. These are.
I'll be definitely checking them out for sure.
Talented guys. All right, Conrad, over to you.
This is a really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it or not. I can't make up my mind.
That's what I expect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I think it's going to need some more listens, because it's there's some interesting stuff going on here. There's like a cross between, you know, you've got some newer, more modern sounding sort of rock metal vibe, and then you've got calypso thrown in there. Well,
there's fucking Jamaican shit. There's everything.
From out of nowhere, you get this calypso fucking part, you know. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm not sure if I like it or not. But then, in saying that, I'm not going to take it away from it. It's very fucking clever. It's very clever.
Yes,
it's very quirky. It's very quirky, but I'm on the fence on this one. I'm not sure. It might take some.
And I don't hold that against you. It's one of those ones you got to let it marinate a bit.
On the fence, but I'll give anything that's original and anything. I still give it. You know, even if I'm not sure if I like it, regardless, I think to be able to do that. To be able to do that to somebody is a clever in itself. So therefore, it gets 7 shots from me, just for sort of being unusual and different, regardless of if you like it or not. That in itself is its charm. I do think it's worthy a listen, and I do think perhaps it's probably worth listening to it a bit more from the first time. Because the first time it's like, okay, it's a hard pill to digest and swallow, and
there's a lot going on.
Give it, I know Mike Portnoy loves them. Mike Portnoy's a big fan. He loves them, and he gave them good props. He really pushed them. So, you know, I'm surprised if Dream Theater was to tour Australia that they wouldn't ask these guys to support. I would be
not anymore. They're done.
Not anymore.
I probably would. Oh, mind you, Dream Theater don't have supports these days. They just do 3-hour shows.
But I suppose if you could get 12 Foot Ninja to get back together to do live shows, I think Dream Theater might be a band.
The band to do it. That'd be the bands that would be able to do it, to pull them back together. I guess fans of Carnival might like this. Perhaps. I think they fall into that kind of school of
anything from Carnival to Mr. Bungle kind of a thing. It's
Mr. Bungle, definitely Mr. Bungle.
But definitely quirky and original. I can't take that away from them. So 7 shots from me.
Nice, cool. No, and that's
I'm just doing laundry as we speak.
You're all good, man. It's all good. But I did touch on before. Michael had a comment here, which I'm going to go to now. Michael said it's sad the demise of 12 Foot Ninja. All their albums are fantastic. Their farewell album is great. The name of the acoustic album is Mutant Dreams and Face Transplant and Acoustic Experience. I do want to go and purchase that one myself, Michael, because I'm a big fan of these guys, obviously. So it's one I want to get around and listen to. But followed up with I first saw them back in the day.
They supported somebody in Melbourne. I went and saw them. I was working on the show.
Man. They've done heaps.
I was working on the gig, and I got these guys were supporting, and I was working on their show. I remember chatting to them.
Yeah, they're lovely guys too. They're fantastic guys. But Michael also said, I first saw them back in the days of their first EP and a special band back then. Nick's vocals are amazing, as well as Stevik's guitar player. Yes, I agree. And Michael also said, I remember when where I first saw 12 Foot Ninja, and that was at the Middle Hotel in Ferntree Gully, which now no longer has live music for many years. That venue was great. That venue was fucking great. That was my old stomping grounds, actually. That I used to live in Upper Ferntree Gully. So yeah, that the Middle was one of those places we'd go and frequent. But yeah, no, it's a shame the band have called it a day. It's a shame the Middle is no longer a venue either for live music anyway. But no, I just wanted to give this band a bit more love, considering they've called it a day kind of thing. It's one of those funny little things that I thought would be a bit of a square in the circle kind of thing. We're going to do a TV episode coming up. We're going to revisit this band in a couple of weeks, which you'll see on telly. But I enjoyed this one. It was worth going back to it for me, and I'm glad that it got the response it did, because that was kind of what it's either going to blow your mind in a weird way or in the best way. Like you're not quite sure you're going to get, but you're going to get your mind blown listening to it. So I thought it was. I know it's probably going to surprise people that I love this band so much because of my general wheelhouse, but I love what these guys do and have done for many, many years. And I hope we get more in the future. Like, I don't know what we'll get. I'm sure they've got stuff in the archives, but we'll see what happens. But either way, I do want to check out that acoustic album. That'll be something else as well from these guys, which I do need to go and check out. What are we thinking? It's 5 to 11. Are we going to do a guest song, or should we just move on and get out of here? What do you guys want to do?
I think we should. Well, it depends on running the show.
All right. Let's see. Jeff, did you have time to prepare something quickly?
Yeah, I got a song. Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Kevin here. Let's see if the Trivia King can beat us
All
this
right,
time.
Kevin, you ready?
Fun. Yeah, let's go to Kevin and see if he wins this time around, because he usually beats us all anyway. So I've squared away the comments here. I know where we're at. So Jeff, take it away. Give us a guess the song. So you guys know the game at home if you're watching. So basically, Jeff's going to read out song lyrics, which of course eliminates all context because there's no melody, nothing to go with it. It's just reading the words.
I'm not going to sing it. I promise.
And it fucks us all up because we never get these ones right, even though we know the fucking songs. So it's a bit of a fun challenge that we go through. Jeff's going to read out some lyrics. We get one guess each. You guys watching at home can do whatever the fuck you want. But for us, we get one guess and then we're out. And it's only two of us here, so there's probably a quick game is a good game kind of example here. But Jeff,
you guys are never going to get this. But hey,
hey, that's promising. All right.
Okay.
Let's see if Kevin gets it then.
Yeah. No Google, Kevin. All right.
No cheating.
No cheating. All right. You make promise of protection to a future afterlife, to the final resurrection, to an eternal paradise. But then I'm blinded with temptation and to every mortal sin. Is it God that sits there waiting, or will the darkness suck me in? Let's wake up the dead. Oh, yeah. It's better that you never know. More tears are shed. Oh, yeah. I'm praying that you'll never know. And then the name of the song.
Yeah.
Oh, the children sit and listen. The belief was in their eyes. In a land without tomorrows, through the night you hear their cries. But then your eyes just skip the pages of a book that never ends. Is it God that sits there waiting? Do you hear the call again? Let's wake up the dead. Oh, yeah. It's better that you never know. More tears are shed. Oh, yeah. I'm praying that you never know.
This is fucking killing me because every time I feel like I'm going to get it, and then it just fleets away from me. Like, fuck. Anyway.
It's just crazy world we live in, and I'm out of my mind. You pray tomorrow, but you're leaving today. Evil one is coming, and he's knocking on your door, because today's the day you'll pay. Let's wake up the dead. Oh, yeah. It's better you'll never know. More tears are shed. Oh, yeah. I'm praying that you'll never know. Let's wake up the dead. Oh, yeah. It's better that you never know. More tears are shed. Oh, yeah. I'm praying that you'll never know. Oh, yeah. And then the name of the song, that I'm, and then the name that I'm, and then the name that I'm, and then the name that I'm, and that's it. I told you you'd never get it.
Right.
Fuck me. Is it Dio? Possibly a Dio track?
No, it's not.
Not Dio. It's not Dio. But you're kind of warm. You're kind of warm.
Tony Martin, then?
Okay, so Sabbath.
No. Not Sabbath.
With Dio?
Not Sabbath.
Not Sabbath. Not Sabbath.
Rainbow.
All right.
It's not Rainbow. But I'll tell you what. It does have a former singer of Sabbath.
Oh, so it's Ozzy.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So it'd be a Tony Martin. Could be Ian Gillan.
Ian Gillan is where my mind went, but it could be an Aussie song, but I didn't feel.
Tony Martin, Gillan. No.
Is it Gillan?
No.
This is out of my
is anyone in the audience got it?
Well, if I look at the comments, I'm out.
So I don't
want to do that just yet. But I'll call it. I'll throw my hat in. I'm like, fuck, I'm done. I'm not going to get it now. If we've gotten this far in, I'm not going to get it.
All right, Jeff wins. All right,
Jeff wins. Let's see. Oh wow, Kevin says Jeff has me beat this week. Whoa! Wow. Hang on, let me go through here because Kevin says Aussie solo ? But then Glenn Hughes is in there as well.
Glenn Hughes,
which I'd forgotten about Glenn Hughes. But yeah, so no, I don't know. I think we're all stumped. Even the quiz king has been stumped here. So Jeff, you've got us all. What is it?
back.
It is Ozzy Osbourne, and it's the song off of Down to Earth, and it's called "Facing Hell."
Oh fuck! That's why I knew it, because I love that
great
album.
Fucking song. It's such a good song.
Now I can hear it.
Yeah,
because I'm facing hell.
That's a good song. Hell. Yeah, it's a great song.
No, don't know it.
Oh, you should. It's a great song. You like it. So fucking heavy.
That's a great song. My favorite from that album is "In the End." That riff, my god! In the End,
it was such an underrated album. It just kind of came under the radar.
An overlooked album. That's a beast.
Yeah, indeed.
Beast of a record. Yeah, now that's why I knew it, because like every time I got close to it, it'd fucking run away from me. That was one of those things. Like, I know this, I've heard it, but like, what is it now? If you say that, it's like fuck. I used to listen to that album on repeat. Fucking.
What's the album? What's the song you? What's the album? The song you like on it?
In the End.
In the End. In the End.
It's got a riff that's fucking Iommi would kill for it. That
No, I don't think that. I'm looking. I don't. In the End's on here.
Yes, it is.
Unless there's a. Hang on.
Oh man.
No, I don't think. That's why I was looking, because I'm like, This has got the album with Dreamer, you know.
Yeah.
But In the End.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear them? Is the song? I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear them? Sorry. That's the chorus says In the End. It's Can you hear them? Sorry.
Okay. Yep. No, that's what, because I'm like, okay. But I had no doubt that it's the song, but I didn't know. Yeah. It's a really underrated album, and it really is a good album. It's one of my favorite, actually. It came out, I think it was 2001. I was just I was in Australia at the time, and I of course I had to have it. So I, TORRENT, I had it, and what an album.
I bought it when it came out straight away, and it didn't leave my CD player for fucking a good part, a month or more, I reckon. And I kept playing that over and over again. Like that last song, Can You Hear Them? Wow. What a way to close the album out.
I think when you listen to I think that album, 2001, and then Black Rain, those two albums are very fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And Scream was okay, but even I like Gus G and everything, but I think I felt that Scream was a little bit, I don't know. It
didn't fit the same feel.
Had some good songs on it, but it just didn't have the same feel. You're right.
But Down to Earth, underrated. The title track alone is Gets Me Through is the one I was thinking of there. So Gets Me Through is fucking, it's a great one too. That I Never Had is a great song.
Yep.
It's got some interesting moments on there. I wouldn't say it's perfect, there's a bit of a what moment?
Look, I think he's done over the years, he's had his share of filler songs.
Yeah.
But
Running Out of Time's a good one as well. Running Out of Time's a great song too.
Yeah. The song on Scream that I absolutely fucking adore. It's probably one of my favorite Ozzy songs of all time. And that's the song called Time.
Okay.
Fuck my God, it's so good. Even Ozzy's vocals, he does this high-pitched vocal melody thing that he does. And I get goosebumps. Yeah. I've been an Ozzy fan since fucking, since Christ was a cowboy. And so I've been a fan forever, really.
Yeah.
Since Sabbath, really. What do you do? Fucking, his career started off with a bang, and then I think he's had a pretty good career solo-wise.
Oh yeah, but even his last couple of albums too have been pretty fucking special as well. Getting toward the end of it all, he's released some great ones lately too. I know some people didn't like the last one or two in particular, but I enjoyed them both.
Patient Number 9 is his first #1 album. It's his last, probably. He might do another one.
I reckon you get one more out of him. I reckon we'll get one more out of him, but then it'll probably be it after that.
I watched. He's got a show, and does the odd
podcast thing going on now. Yeah,
and you really see how frail he's getting. He's,
he won't tour again. If he thinks he is, it's delusional. He won't play. He won't play any shows live.
He might be able to do the Phil Collins thing in a wheelchair, come out and sing or something. I don't know, but Yeah, just maybe in a resident singer.
Not even that, I don't think. I think even doing that like a week to week would be challenging for him. I think a one-off here and there would be about where we're at now. I don't say that to be disrespectful. I just think it's a
no. That's right.
Might do the odd show. I don't think it'll be touring, full scale touring, but it might be the odd show here and there.
I think you can do an occasional show. I don't think you can even do a residency though. I think you'd have to do like a show here and then a couple of months off and do a show there, and that'd be it kind of thing. A residency would be too much to ask. I think
it's sad. It really is sad.
But at the same time, fuck, what a career and a life. I mean, we should all be so lucky. At the same time,
yeah. You certainly can't fault anything he's done.
He's lived a life.
He's had an absolute brilliant career. He's a household name, even if you don't know his music, you know the name.
Yeah,
not too many singers can say that.
Yep.
I heard the other day, Tony Iommi's got he's working on an album that's going to be coming out soon, which I'm looking forward to. Cool. That. Yeah,
he's written some great stuff in and out of Sabbath, which is fucking phenomenal. So yeah, definitely keen to check out that. But I'm glad you stumped Kevin. There we go.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, it's all good. Rowan.
Did anyone get it?
No one got it. You stumped everyone. So Jeff wins cleanly tonight. Rowan's gone, Aussie's still in better shape than either of the US presidential candidates. So there we go. That's from Rowan there, which is probably a fair
Can't argue with that.
Sorry to the American viewers here, but yeah, it's a bit of a pick your poison, isn't it? Like, which is
it is. Yes, it's one of those things. That's why we don't talk about that stuff.
No, we're not going to get into it. Just leave it alone. All right. So we'll get out of here in a second. Before we do, we always go to the win or bin or both of the week kind of thing. It's been a couple of weeks off for us of us here. So let's get into a win or a bin or whatever else have you. So Conrad, what have you got for us while you're doing your washing and your cooking and everything else going on?
Conrad cooks. Conrad does
whilst the washing's on in the background. Whilst the washing's on, I got some I'm doing some burgers here. Some onions and
enjoy. That's it.
That's it.
Cooking up some
summer burgers, man. There's nothing like it. Yeah. Oh no.
Hey, wow. Am I back?
You're back. Yeah, we got you.
Right. Yeah.
I have vintage mature cheddar jalapeno chicken burgers.
Nice. Sounds good, man. Enjoy.
Jalapeno, eh? Yeah.
Vintage mature cheddar jalapeno chicken burgers.
Okay, Jeff.
And lamb. I've got some lamb burgers as well.
Nice, man. Enjoy the burgers. Burgers are always good. Burgers and day drinking. What can go wrong, man?
Oh, and summer. He's in the middle of summer.
I know, right?
I know.
Yep.
It is summer here. Yeah, the weather's
Orange
Goblin tonight.
Yeah, you're in for a good one. So have fun with that too. Yeah.
Bloodstock's coming up in a few weeks. I'm looking forward to Bloodstock.
Nice.
That'll be good. Good bands on that. I'm working on that. So. Yeah. Fuck. What? All right. What's going?
Win or bin?
Fucking bin.
Yeah.
Bin. This new fucking government we've got here. I don't think they're any better
than
the last one.
How can they be worse than the last one?
I don't think they're any better than the last. They're not. Well, they're not. They'll do some things. They might be a lot better.
Yeah.
Still beats Thatcher, man. Worse, but yeah.
Still beats Thatcher.
Yeah, still beats Thatcher with Tories. Our mayor, London mayor, he can go on the fucking bin. He's useless. Absolute useless prick. Does nothing. Does nothing for London other than figure out ways to make himself more money. He's just
of course.
Idiot, incompetent jerk. Yeah. He's not fixing knife crime. We could get knife crime off the streets, get knives off the streets.
No, that's a big problem over there.
Until his own children get stabbed, until his own kids get stabbed, I don't think he's going to do anything.
Which is unfortunate.
So, London Bears, Sadiq Khan in the fucking bin. You useless prick.
All right. Cool. All right. Jeff, what have you got for win or bin?
I got nothing really major. Like the other day, I got up. So when was this? Was it yesterday? It might have been yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. It was yesterday. So I got up for work. I'm ready to drive to work and everything like that. And I'm getting all ready, showered, a whole bit, getting dressed because we were taking photos at work. So I had to make sure I looked pretty decent.
Look the goods.
I had to look the goods, right? And so we're doing we're getting professional photos for everybody on the website and stuff like that. And so I'm like, right. And I'm getting ready and I make my coffee and I'm getting ready to go, right? I'm spending a good 40 minutes getting all prepped. And then I go outside and I'm like, fuck, I can't see. It's so fucking foggy. This is fucked. So I get in the car, thinking, okay, surely it'll get better. I get in the car, I back out of the driveway, I drive down the road, and I've driven about half a kilometer and I had to pull over.
Wow.
I can't fucking see at all. Like, I need to get a fucking seeing eye dog and tape him to the front of the fucking car because I can't fucking see. And so, I had to pull over. So, and my headlights, because now that I'm driving, so I've got like it's an SUV, right? And so it's up higher, and so the headlights are up higher, and so the lights, good fucking design, people. The lights were shining right back in my face, because the lights are so high, and I couldn't. I had to call my boss and said, I can't come in. I got to work from home. Why?
Yeah,
because I can't fucking get there. How am I going to get there? He said, what's the problem? I said, it's foggy, man. I can't see shit. And then he gives me shit. Well, I'll allow it this time. I'm like, what do you mean you'll allow it? How the fuck can you stop it?
I can control the weather.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
That's great.
I'll allow the fog. I'll allow the fog.
If my dog said I'm sick, what's he gonna say? I'll allow it this time.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
That's great.
Anyway, look, that was stupid. But anyway, I get it. But anyway, so I've got to make up a day. We have to have like so many days per week in the office, so I've got to make up a day. Even though I work from home, I didn't lose any work. But I have to, I got to make up the day. So I'll do that sometime next week or something, I guess.
Yeah.
But fuck that. So fog is in the bin because I couldn't see shit. I mean, it was.
So your boss
and that part.
You know how scary it is driving when you know you're going and you're going. I can't see what I'm going. I could hit.
It's like your boss should be going in the bin, not the fog.
Yeah.
But look, it was just fucked. Yeah. So that fog is in the bin. Anyway, that's my.
In that part of the world, when the fog kicks off, it's actually really hard to see, man. I remember.
Oh man, that's the worst I think I've ever seen it. I've seen lots of fog, but not like this.
Yeah, it can get full on. All right, well, I got a couple for me. The bin is getting sick over the break, which I covered at the top of the show. No, I don't know what to do that again. So that was quick. So just getting sick when you have it's funny, like I said, like you stop, you take a break. That's when you get sick, and it's just like really. It's like when you go on holiday and you get sick. It's like, what the fuck was the point of that? I've been better off just powering through and being able to just keep going. Would have felt fine. But anyway, that's just how it works, unfortunately. But my win, which you guys, I don't know if Connor knows, but I know that Jeff knows. And Patreon people know about this one already. But this is actually a bit of good news that we had from Channel 31 recently, which is really, really cool. Okay, cool. I'm glad that got shared across to you as well. So basically, we get ratings reports from Channel 31 from time to time. It's a bit of a sporadic thing because the network has to pay for it. So I don't expect anything much in that regard. It's an expense they don't have to do. But when they do it, it's nice to get some good feedback. So for between April and June this year, 2024, the Hard Rock Show was the 6th most watched program on Channel 31, peaking at number 3 in the month of May. So we've regularly made the top 10 over a lot of years now for the network. We've been regularly in the top 10 of numbers of people watching the show, which we appreciate and love the support that we've been getting. Been doing this for a long time, and to have so many people just sort of stay with us, and we get people drop off and people come in, and just to be consistently doing as well as we have for so long has been an absolutely refreshing. It keeps us engaged, and not that we need it, but it's one of those things where it feels really good. But I don't think we've ever peaked number 3 before. I think it's the highest we've ever gone. I was telling Jody when we got the news that I don't think we've ever gone that high as number 3 before. So for us, it's a high tide mark, which it belongs to all of you. So thank you for all of you out there that watch the show and enjoy our stupidity and the fun we have with it. And it's great to see that after so many years, people still enjoy what we do to this level. To get a high tide mark in 2024, and we started out in 2012 on TV. Now it's a great thing to have. So no, we can't thank everyone out there enough for tuning in and watching our antics on telly, and we hope you keep enjoying it for many years to come, because we're not going anywhere. It's just one of those things where it's just like, that was just a really cool sort of we have a win, and I wanted to share it with everyone out there. So thank you so much for your support and for tuning in. And if you haven't watched it before, then make sure you go and check it out whenever you get a chance to do so. On that note, Channel 31, 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights, and 10:30 p.m. 44 on Thursday nights in Adelaide, that is. So Melbourne in Channel 31 and Channel 44 is Adelaide. So make sure you keep following us on the TV side of things. That's where we can play the music, because we get different broadcast things over there on YouTube, and that you can't do it. So just forget about it on these platforms. But for the TV side of things, yes, we can. There's also some talk about us being able to be hosted on the CTV Plus app as well. So that is a talk. It's not a locked in thing yet, but it hopefully will be coming along where people can catch up on episodes, including the music, due to the APRA, whatever, the royalty fee license, all that kind of stuff, which Channel 2 and pay for one anyway, but they're looking at expanding it to incorporate being able to host things like what we do on the streaming service as well, which is why we sort of switched to making it more purely submission based as well, because we wanted to make sure that the people that send us their stuff get that crack of things too. So on that note, we've been showing our email address. So if you're in a band, you want to send us your stuff, then check out media@thehardrockshow.com is the email to send it to. I've been putting it on the screen. It's in the description box as well. And just make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Details in the description box. Check out our Patreon page too. Even if you sign up to the free tier, you just get sort of updates here and there what we're doing. But if you want to do the $2 a month, which is the cheapest one, which is really fuck all, you get to do things like vote on the weekly playlist. And that, now that back in the swing of things, there'll be a lot more going on as well. Polling. Those of you in Patreon would have seen we got you to do a poll on what the next King of the Rift theme is, which I'm going to get into in a second. So that's coming through. So you get to poll and really help us determine what happens next on the show, which is really cool. Just for a couple bucks a month if you can spare it. But that's almost it for tonight. So thank you to Jeff and Conrad for jumping back in after a break. It's been good to get back into the swing of things. It's been good fun here. So thank you both for that. Thank you to Dave and to Belle. Even though they're not here tonight, they do put in behind the scenes as well. So I do appreciate them being involved behind the scenes too, which is great to see. Same to Jody behind the scenes too. Without her, none of this gets done. So I appreciate her too.
Jody.
But yeah, thank you everyone for being involved. We're back to normal next week. So I was mentioning before, King of the Rift, the new season, King of the Rift. So for you guys, this is something that only Belle knows about because Belle does the collating of the results. I put up a post yesterday asking for everyone's sophomore albums. That is the theme for the next King of the Rift, is the second albums. Everyone talks about the debut albums, but our next theme is sophomore albums. So that is coming up. Yeah.
I think I mentioned that a while back.
You did, a long time ago.
I thought so. I thought it was like, I remember saying.
Yeah, you did bring it up. I put it on the list and I randomly drew it out. And then I went, okay, cool. We'll see what happens. And I think the second most popular on Patreon was Australian releases for the second time in a row. That's been popular. Yeah, but yeah, this one was it blitzed it. Like it really took the voting by a long, long margin. So good idea there, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Roland's idea got in there too, but didn't quite make the idea. Roland's idea.
Right.
Hey?
Conrad's talking to someone.
Oh, okay.
nothing
I was like getting busted in the classroom. What? Nothing. Like
that was great.
That was fantastic.
Not mine. Not mine.
Not yours. No, it wasn't me. But anyway, so yeah, next week we're gonna get back into King of the Rift, and the theme is sophomore album. So get on the post from yesterday because we're gonna collate the results on Sunday. So if you want to get involved, you're gonna get yesterday's post pronto. But yeah, I'm also going to expand it to 12 albums, not 10, because that breaks into the year a bit more easily to make the seasonal kind of thing going on. So I'll explain to you guys behind the scenes. So I want to make it do actual more seasons kind of thing. So I'm just expanding it a little bit to give us a bit more.
That's clever.
Yeah. So you'll get a more in-depth breakdown behind the scenes, obviously, so I can explain to you what I'm thinking. But we're going to expand a little bit to add a couple of weeks to it to make it sort of more episodic or seasonal, I should say, not episodic. But on top of that, the new theme, we'll also go back to things like we're going to do the Backyard Bangers are back next week. We'll do the building a collection stuff. We're going to go to Tiny Martin, Black Sabbath era stuff, which Jeff and I have been talking about. We're going to do that coming up as well. What else? We've got songs of the week, all the usual stuff. So tune in. Next week is back to normal for all this sort of stuff. Like I said before, check us out on television as well for the other side of things. Don't forget to check out the music tonight. Don't just take our word for it. Check out the music for yourselves. Give us your thoughts and if you get a chance to do this. Hopefully you enjoy a lot of the stuff we're talking about here. If not, then just stick around. You'll find something you enjoy eventually with us. Yeah, please spread the word. If you like what we do, like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends about us, get people to tune in. We get a lot of some new faces here tonight, which is fantastic to see. And honestly, getting a lot of love in the comments tonight, which has been fantastic. So thank you for the kind words. Appreciate all of that as we go through things here. But that's about it. Let's get to some final comments from the audience. What do we got here? Kevin says, no worries. Do we do anything for Tastemakers this week or on hold? We are doing it. Don't worry, there'll be a post tomorrow night. So just keep an eye out, Michael, for Tastemakers. It is coming. I've just put it on hold. We'll be doing votes on what's in the, like, it'll basically be picking up where we left off. We'll pick up where we left off in tomorrow night. So just, you'll get the idea. I'll put a post up tomorrow, like I was saying in Patreon. Lou Sassol's here again. What's up, fellas? Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Kevin says, Ben, Black and Kyle Gass. I won't talk politics, but since they are music related, if you don't have anything nice to say, just keep your mouth shut. Fair point. It's a bit of a messy situation there. Basher says, congratulations to the team at TRS. Thank you for the kind words. It doesn't happen with you guys watching as well, so thank you for that. Kathy says, that's awesome. Play some 6th Century again soon. We will. Don't worry. I promise we will. And Edge Crush is here as well. Nice show, boys. Thank you so much for that. Kevin's gone, have a great weekend, everyone. Make sure you're looking after yourselves out there. We want to see you all back here for the next stream. Every Thursday we do streams. We've got other stuff going on as well. So just keep up to date. We want to see you all back here, so look after yourselves, and I think that will about do it for now. So until next time, on behalf of Jeff and Conrad here tonight, we'll see you all very, very soon. But yeah, I think that's about it. What have we got? One more comment here before I get out of here. Great show as always from Michael. Thank you again for the comment.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And if you're watching later on, not live with us now, we do appreciate you taking the time. Whenever you do take the time to do so, we do appreciate that a great, great deal. I know there's more comments coming through. We're going to have to get out of here. So thank you again. See you soon. Otherwise, I'll be here all night. Until next time, you know what to do, folks. Drink up, rock on. We'll catch you next time, folks.
Cheers.
Ciao.